All right, and we are back on the Film Tangents program. Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah, we're already almost through October.
Yeah,
It's kind of frightening,
almost done with this season of Film Tangents.
dude. It's starting to actually get really scary how fast time is going by.
Yeah,
Not to start everyone off on a downer, but it's becoming kind of frightening. I gotta say, at 27, I'm not used to this rate.
yeah, man.
This year felt really fast, like
Yeah,
more so than past years.
yeah.
Uh, Pretty scary. Pretty scary.
It is.
Pretty spooky, you
It
might
is.
say.
Yeah, it is weird how we continue to experience time. The other day we
Yeah.
were watching like this video about time, um, which was a YouTube video. I think it was like a hand green video, just basically talking about like um the idea of time and how we experience time and how the universe is expanding and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
watching that video also, I think I've had too much time. I've had too much shit in my head about time. With
Yeah.
the Rick and Morty thing, like I will mess with time. There's too much. There's too much. Yeah, there's too much. I've had too much of like a time consciousness lately. I'm not happy about that.
Yeah. No, it's getting freaky, dude. Like, yeah. I mean, because we've all heard that before. Like, as you get older, your a year to you is way smaller of a chunk of life than say when you were 5 or 10 or 15. Even at like 19 years old, like a year is 1/19th of your life.
Yeah.
But as you go on, we were talking about that with school and stuff, too,
Mhm.
like how fast a summer or how long summer used to feel rather. And
Yeah.
now it's just like boom.
Yes.
I'm not even just when you're not even on school schedule anymore, like I'll be sitting in my home office and the school bus pulls up and I'm just like, what? I'm like, what the hell? I'm like,
School
what
bus.
month is it again?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, what? Kids are back in school? What?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's weird, dude. Yeah, it's just like you just gotta pack shit in at this point, dude. You gotta pack shit into your life.
Yeah.
Like,
And it,
that's what I did this year, and I honestly I thought that it was gonna go by
but
slower
didn't.
because a
Yeah.
lot of times if you have like a really like a full weekend,
Hmm.
a really full weekend, it feels longer than if you were just sitting around.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was like, well, maybe I'll just, try to do that with my year, and it didn't really work. It
Yeah.
didn't really work.
It's fascinating
All
because
those trips I went on and
yeah,
social events and everything, it didn't make it go. It didn't make it feel longer.
but it's fascinating, isn't it? That it does feel that way. Like we started the year, now the year's ending, and it feels like it's like, oh shit, now the year's ending, but we just started the year.
Yeah,
But it's fascinating too when I think about it because this show is a record. I guess at the very least for our existence, that of a little bit our audience and also Jack. That it's like, oh shit, But it's also very fascinating to me because, us doing the show always feels like a stamp of each week. And it
yeah,
also, in a way, always feels like we're always doing the show.
yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
it always feels like a
It's a
day
time
passed.
capsule.
Yeah. But it feels like a
Yeah,
day passed. It feels like a day or two passed and we're doing the show,
yeah, yeah,
But that's how weird
yeah. It's like
crunched
it's an
everything
anchor
is.
point for the week.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Especially
no,
for me,
you're
because
exactly right.
that's when I get to drink my long drink. Long drink, please
Yeah,
sponsor us. I drink all your beer. Please sponsor the show.
yeah.
Oh
Give
man.
us money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
look
kind of
forward to it every
interesting though,
time
because
to drink
I,
this.
I think perception of time to me is actually a little paradoxical though, because then when I start thinking about specific parts of the year that were more than a few months ago, I'm like, oh, that actually feels like a long time ago.
Hmm.
Like I think about my birthday this past April and like my party that I threw, and I'm like
I
that
think about that too
that feels
sometimes.
long. Yeah, I'm like that feels yeah. Hey, the only reason you weren't there was because of geographical
No, no, I
reasons.
know. That's not that,
Otherwise,
that's not even
you were at
what.
the one before that.
Yeah, I went to go for. That's not even like the point of what I'm saying. It's almost like I'm trying to like trip you up. Like, oh yeah, I think about your birthday too. I was there.
Yeah,
It's like I'm
yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm like
yeah.
Mr. Poopy Butthole.
No, previous one. You were at the previous one.
I was at the previous
No,
one.
but Yeah, no, when I think about it though, I'm kind of like, oh, that does feel like a long ass time ago. I mean, and it was only 6 months ago, but it does. So I don't know. It kind of depends on when you're thinking about. Because then I got a Snapchat memory from 5 years ago today, and I was like, well, that does feel like forever ago. I think it's just when these. You know what I think it is? I think it's holidays that make that because it doesn't feel like the last holiday was that long ago. So when these holidays come around, like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, you're like, what the fuck? It's already Halloween again? But then when you look at what came in between, the intermediate, it's like, that actually was like a pretty long time. A lot did happen
Yeah.
in that time.
Yeah. What feels like
So,
forever ago to me now is like college.
oh
Like
yeah.
especially like
Oh my
first
God.
year. Like that to me, because that to me, like that now has been about 10 years. It's been about a decade, since
Yeah,
like our first
almost.
year. So I think
Yeah.
about that now and I'm like, it just seems like such a distant memory. And it's fascinating because, all that we have is now, it's all that we have. My current now, my current like existence at this very second, I'm spending it with you and we're doing this show. That is in my head.
Aw.
Well, but it's like that's the only thing I possess. So it's like the only thing that I have right now is this. But I think about that, and it feels like a cartoon. Like when I think about my
Yeah.
memories of that, it feels like a show that I watched, like Drake and Josh.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even feel like I lived that.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. I
like
know, dude.
like it feels like I
We were
know
just
you. It's
such
like, oh, I know this guy, and he and I were together in Drake and Josh. That's the feeling
yeah.
that I have.
Yeah, we were on a
We're on a
sitcom together in
sitcom
the
that I remember
2010s. Yeah.
vaguely. Yeah.
Yeah. I
and then
know.
it ended when
We were
COVID
such
happened.
different people back then
Yeah.
too. I mean, I was thinking today, like there's certain rappers that are our age or even
Yeah.
younger,
Yeah.
and they were, like Travis Scott, for example. I think he was like, I don't know what, 18, 19, 20 when he first blew up,
Mhm.
and I shudder. I don't know if I've said this on the show before, but I really shudder to think of my 18-year-old self like hitting it rich
You're
and
big. Yeah.
just suddenly getting money. I would have been such a piece of shit, dude. Oh
Yes.
my god. I mean,
Yeah.
not a piece of shit. I always had good morals, but I
Yeah.
just would have been such a douche,
Well, but that's
you
that's
know?
that's why we have to give a little bit of I guess like a little bit of room, right, for when stuff like that happens, and then we get to see like Justin Bieber, like stuff like that, where it's like that guy was like 12, you know. So it's
Yeah.
like it's insane, which is fascinating because a topic that I had, which this is a good way of getting into it. I don't know how much time you want to spend on anything, but this is just a very good segue into this, which is Tyler the Creator. I don't know if you've seen what's going on with Tyler the Creator.
No, enlighten me.
Well, I will enlighten you, sir. You, and I will say this about myself also, are actual hip hop fans. And what I mean by that is like people who have been aware of hip hop and engaging with hip hop as a medium of art and entertainment for a long while, and also have been aware of the culture. That's what I'm saying. When I say true hip hop fan, is what I mean. And it's important to distinguish that Tyler the Creator is somebody who's almost had two separate careers, that we could say pre Flower Boy and post Flower Boy, right? Which is fascinating because, we also have to think about the fact that when Flower Boy came out, it was not titled just Flower Boy. It's like being retroactively titled Flower Boy. Now that's just the title of the album when you go on Apple Music. But when it came out, it was Scumfuck Flower Boy.
Oh yeah.
That was the name of the
That's
album. That
right.
was the full name.
Yeah.
And he changed it. But what I'm trying to say is that I think Tyler's being canceled. That's really the point. That's where I'm going to. Um,
Oh really?
there's been a lot of like resurfacing of like old tweets and old memes and old sketches and old songs,
Oh
you know. But that's
god.
what I'm trying to say. Because what I'm trying to put across is that it seems to me like at some point Tyler cultivated a non hip hop fan audience. And that's like the post Flower Boy part of it, right? Where it's like Flower Boy
Yeah.
came out and then Igor and then all these songs like Earthquake and then all these subsequent albums. It feels like it cultivated, it's almost like people found him for the first time then and they were like, well, this is the guy, and then they just kept listening to him
Yeah,
from then, but nobody
he
ever went
became a
back.
very hipster,
Yes.
like, hipsters listened to him.
Yeah.
All the artsy kids
Yes.
started listening to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's had a hate campaign recently where basically
Ugh.
those exact same people have somehow now woken up to being like, wait, what did he say in that song called Yonkers?
Why now,
Now,
though? Why now?
now.
Why now? You know, it's funny because I've thought of that before. I've
Yeah.
but way back, like, when he started this whole thing as, like, Flower Boy and Igor, and he was nominated for a Grammy, I was
Yes.
like, "Oh, wow,
He cleaned up.
interesting." He really left that, Wolf trilogy, that Goblin era behind,
Hmm.
and I kinda thought of that. I was like, it's kinda surprising, like, how, his fan base is now these hipsters,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah.
Um, but I was like, interesting. I guess they just forgive him for that, or no one's really cares. But now all of a sudden in 2025, it's dude.
And
What is the point of all of this
the
though? Like, what has cancel culture really?
yeah,
I know you probably have more points you want to make, but I
yeah,
just want to throw this for people to chew on in the meantime. What has cancel culture really accomplished?
yeah.
That's my question. But
Get
go
rid
ahead.
of Harvey Weinstein.
That's not, I don't
Amongst some
consider that
others.
really cancel culture. That
Yeah.
was like
No, I get
just
yeah,
desserts.
no,
I
I
mean, that was
agree.
like
I
more
agree
of a
with that.
me. I separate Me Too
Yeah.
from cancel culture. Like, that was a Me Too
Yeah, for
thing,
sure,
and
for
that,
sure.
like, that stuff. If it's like, hey, look, like, this guy has been, breaking the law. That's one thing, but or just behaving completely toxic, in a toxic manner in
Yeah,
these
I agree with
companies,
you. Yeah.
abusive.
There is
That I separate from cancel culture.
yeah,
Cancel culture is what you're talking about right now, which is like old
old tweets and
tweets,
shit like that.
old.
Yeah.
It's like, what is
Old
it? What does it
songs.
do? I
Yeah.
mean, what has it made the country less racist? Has it really made the country less
Just
uh,
aggravates things.
of anything
Yeah.
that they're trying? I don't think it's really done anything.
Yeah. No, I agree with you because I think it is important to make that distinction, right? Which is like I guess the difference between that and just like repercussions, which I guess we could say that about everything else. But with this, I don't know. The other point that I wanted to make about it was that it's fascinating because it seems to me, I guess just to add a little bit of clarity, it's coming off of the foot of the this is why I think this is happening, by the way. Just to give everybody some context. D'Angelo passed away, as we know. He passed away like 10 days ago now, I think. On the wake of it, Tyler had been sharing a lot of kind of D'Angelo content, and just kind of
Mm.
painting a picture of like this was the GOAT, and he was a huge influence. And in his comment section, and a lot of the response to him sharing like D'Angelo's work was basically people being like, who the heck was this guy? And on the wake of people basically reacting with like ignorance to somebody like D'Angelo, right? Tyler's reaction was basically to more or less say, I'm paraphrasing this whole thing, but to more or less say something along the lines of like, he was kind of denouncing his audience basically, and basically being like, you guys don't represent me, you know, like I am me, and you guys don't even like f with the things that I think are cool, like D'Angelo, for instance. So in the wake of him basically denouncing his own audience and saying that he doesn't like his own audience, he's had pushback. So basically, he's been like, my audience sucks, and then people have been saying like, well, you created that audience, and then that audience has now it's now
Yeah,
trying to cancel him.
yeah, yeah,
That's what
yeah.
happened.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah,
I'm kind of looking at an article here. So he basically criticized. He liked a tweet
his own
criticizing his white
audience.
fans for
Yeah.
having zero interest in learning about black art. That's a quote from this hot new hip hop
Yeah,
article.
and that came off of
Um,
the D'Angelo, of the wake of D'Angelo's passing.
well, this is also like this is just a media thing. Like, cancel this guy. Spoiler alert: Tyler the Creator's not going to be canceled.
No, no.
This is going to be done in a week, and he's going to go on to have a fantastic music career.
Yeah,
and
And I
everybody's
can't
still
and I
going to work
can't
with him.
yeah, and I can't speak
Uh,
for successful versions of that because that's the funny thing that you said too. It's like I don't even know if there's been like actual successful ones because these people always
what
bounce back.
cancels?
Yeah,
They always bounce
they always
back.
bounce back.
The people who really suffer from cancel culture are like the kind of mid tier people, like a
Yes,
producer at Sony or
yeah, yes,
those
100%. Or like
that
small
shit
time
probably
YouTubers,
really.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but even then, with like YouTubers, it's like, I mean, didn't PewDiePie quote unquote get canceled? I
yeah,
highly doubt PewDiePie's
yeah, but I
working at
mean,
Walmart
but that's what I
now.
mean though, because like YouTube, PewDiePie is too big to fail. But there's been like mid
Right.
tier YouTubers. Like there's been guys with like
Oh, I see what
quarter
you're saying.
million views and shit and stuff like that that I've witnessed them canceled and they have not resuscitated.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Interesting.
they're still
Yeah.
down and out.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
also feel like the bar has sort of been raised for what you need to say to be
for
canceled.
sure. Yeah.
Because I think inflammatory people like Kanye West, like
Yes.
Donald Trump, like Elon Musk, like you even have crazies like Nick Fuentes out there right now. All of these different people, they've kind of raised the bar where
Hmm.
it's like then someone who says who like accidentally or says something that could just be taken wrong out of context. I think people are honestly, I think the cancel mob will always want to jump on that kind of stuff because they're not actually interested in quote unquote social justice. They're not interested in helping people. They're not
No.
interested in even snuffing out bad behavior. They like hurting
A
people.
hundred
Like
percent.
that's what they like doing.
Yeah.
They're bullies. They're fucking bullies who like to hurt people
Yeah.
because they're hurting. They're
Yes.
lonely. They live behind their keyboard.
Yeah.
Um,
Keyboard warriors.
and so, but I think, but the majority, the masses, are much more forgiving of misunderstandings or someone misspeaking. I think now because you have now Kanye
Hmm.
and Nick Fuentes and
Hmm.
Andrew Tate saying insane
Insane
shit.
things.
So it's kind of like in Game of Thrones where you're like, well, Jamie Lannister would be a bad guy, but
There's other people
Joffrey
doing
and
this stuff.
Ramsay make him
Yeah.
look really good.
Yeah, and
It's like
that's also
that.
the interesting thing to put across, when I think about that, because there's also I think what's also interesting to be said is that there's certain people, and entirely creators included in this, that own it, you know. Like he's not apologizing for that. He's just
You can't.
that's the thing. He's not doing it. He's just kind of like, yeah, that's what it
Yep.
is, you know. Which that's to me is what's fascinating, and I think something that I thought about in relation to this subject was about Filthy Frank.
Oh yeah.
Because
I remember that guy.
well, you know that he's a musician now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because like now he transitioned from that, and then he became Joji. So now he's Joji,
Yeah.
and he's very big. Like he's a big musician. He had that song
Is
"Dancing
he?
in the Dark," like that was like a huge hit. Yeah, he's big, and he's right now. The reason why I mention him is because he's in the midst of a new album cycle. So he has a new single out, and it's fascinating because every now and then, whenever Joji is like doing things, I will see a post being like LOL, most people don't know that this guy and this guy are the same person. And it will be like a
Yeah.
picture of Joji and then a picture of him dressed as like Pink guy. And I'm like, dude, I'm like, wait for this to blow up. Because that's like at some point this is gonna blow up too. Like in
His
my
filthy Frank stuff.
yes, because I was like at some point he's gonna have his own Tyler the Creator arc where people are gonna be like, oh, this really cool musician, that has this very specific audience now. At some point they're gonna be like, what he said what?
Yeah.
He has the what song? He was eating cakes made out of people's fingernails. What? Yeah.
Yeah. I just it doesn't it, I don't know, man. It's with Tyler, I can't speak on Joji. I don't know really much about him other than like what you've told me, but
Yeah.
like with Tyler the Creator, he was a horrorcore
He
artist.
was.
He had, that was his thing. He wanted to that I believe that's how he I don't even think I think it's kind of evident through his interviews and stuff that he didn't even really like horrorcore, and it's honestly questionable how much he even likes rap music.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
he seems to be
Yeah,
a very big R&B and jazz
R&B and
fan.
soul guy,
I
100%.
really think the horrorcore angle, and I think it's evident in his older interviews. The horrorcore angle was to make a splash and get
Yes.
on the
It
map, get people to
was
notice him. Because
it
when I was in
was
school, he
Go ahead.
was the fucked up
He
guy. It
was
was
that guy.
like,
He
"Oh my
was that
god, did
guy.
you hear that Tyler, the Creator
Yes.
lyric? Like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
It
Did you hear what he
was
said in Tron Cat?
it was
You know,
shock.
oh my." Yeah,
He was using like a
exactly.
shock tactic, to 100%. And you're right because that's the fascinating thing. And you and I have talked about that because it's like I think you and I have talked about that in a way in kind of this context of like, can you believe that this guy that has such a great rapping voice doesn't like rapping that much,
Oh,
and that
yeah,
with
yeah.
every album he just moves away from it. Um, but yeah,
And he
100%.
bounced back with Call Me If You Get Lost,
Yeah.
but I was really surprised when he put out that album because I was like, I
Yes.
thought this guy hates rap.
Yes.
Like, not hate, but he just doesn't, he says it in old songs that
Yeah.
he doesn't even like rap. He says it in interviews. I don't listen to rap. I listen to like, jazz. But yeah, it was a shock. I think it was, yeah, you're right. It was shock. It was a way to get on the map. And any tweets he was putting out at the time, are you kidding me? He was a complete troll playing a character.
Hmm.
This guy was not to be taken seriously. Have you watched interviews with this guy in 2011? Oh, but still, you're responsible for what you say, and what you say can be inflammatory. But it's like, man, you know, it's art and a marketing tactic. And you know what, man? That's the game. That's the world we live in, man. We're constantly inundated with everything from music to movies to shows to commercials that, you know, fucking a lot of it is damaging to us. And
Hmm.
it's the responsibility of people to, watch and listen to what they want to
Yeah.
and don't what they don't want to, and
Yeah.
parents to
Surprise your
supervise their
kids.
kids.
Yes,
You don't want
100%.
your kid listening to Tyler the Creator's music and watching his interviews and seeing his tweets. Don't give them a fucking smartphone. Give
Yeah.
them a flip phone if you
Yeah.
want to keep in contact with them. Like,
Yeah.
it's like this culture that we're in now. It's like, no, well, my kid has to have an iPhone.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
I agree. Cell phones are a part of life now, but it's like
Yes.
you can give your kid a fucking piece of shit phone so you know where he's at
Yeah.
and you can keep in contact with him. But
Yeah.
it's just like, stop it.
Yeah. That's
You
the
know?
fascinating thing about like future predictive media, right? When we think about, I know this is kind of like a completely different subject, but that's fascinating to me about when we think about like sci-fi content and media, from like the 60s and 70s and how they predicted the future would be and how different it is, but also kind of close to that, right? Because they were like, oh, people are going to be cyborgs by the 2020s. And it's like, we kind of are. Obviously, we're
Yeah.
not, by the definition, we're not, but it's like the way that we use phones are literally just like an extension of us at this point in time.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think
But yeah,
the '80s definitely had they were the closest. I think
to
the
getting it right.
cyberpunk stuff was
Yeah.
the closest to getting it right.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say too with Tyler the Creator and cancel culture, it's like, um, I think what's also really hard, what makes real cancellation, pretty much impossible at this point, is there's a concept of monoculture.
Yeah, that's not a
There's
thing
no such
anymore.
thing anymore
Yeah,
of
it's not a thing anymore.
pop culture.
No,
There's
it's a niche
different,
culture now.
just go on YouTube. There's all these different subcultures.
Yeah,
We're in a society now that's made up of
subcultures and niche. Yeah, for
subcultures,
sure. Because
subcultures and
that's
microcultures.
the fascinating
And soon
thing.
it's only going to get worse with like algorithms that
Yeah,
are
a hundred
targeting
percent.
us, and we're probably going to live in a world where it's like each
Bubbles.
of us is just part of our own culture,
Yeah,
pop culture in a
yeah,
way.
yeah. It's just
Well, not
bubbles.
pop culture, personal
Well,
culture,
but
which
that's the
I
fascinating
would
thing,
hate to
right?
be part of that.
I've been having a lot of conversations about that in my personal life. The the fact that we don't live in a society anymore that has a monoculture, right? But um we still have remnants, which that's the fascinating thing to me, that we are not so far like removed from that that we don't have remnants. We have remnants of that. Like we have people like Drake, you know, who
Right.
is a remnant of a monoculture. where
Yeah.
everybody knows that guy, you know? That's a conversation that I was having recently because that's the fascinating thing to me. But you're right in the sense that it's like, not only are we not in that anymore, where you can't just remove all the resources from an artist and be like, now you're done because that's over with. But also now there's also super fans, right? Where even if, let's say, like half of someone's audience is like, yeah, we're done with that guy, there's still going to be the other half of the audience that's always and ever going to keep supporting that person. And there's so many avenues of revenue that are available to them where they don't have to be dependent on like these like powers or gatekeepers or like companies that are gonna like suffocate them because that's not a thing anymore. The same
Right.
reason why
Like the
somebody
gatekeepers gave them those
exactly,
resources
but it's
too.
the same reason why somebody like Alex Jones persists.
Oh yeah.
Persists. These guys persist. Somebody like
He
Andrew
looks
Tate.
awful. I saw a
He does.
thumbnail of him the
Yeah,
other
he does.
day. He looks like a fucking prune, dude. He looks like a
He
wrinkled
does.
fucking
He looks
beet.
awful. you know. But that's the thing, because I was thinking about that.
Or a date. He looks like a date.
But I was thinking about that because a lot of people set records, like when you think about like Michael Jackson or when you think about a movie like Titanic and stuff like that, that feel or like the Avengers that feel like they're not we're getting to a point where those things are not going to be replicated anymore. It's interesting because you always think about records as things that only exist to be broken because they will eventually be broken. But there's certain things that seem like they were strictly a product of like a monoculture society, like Titanic or like when Avatar came out, right? Where it was like everybody's seeing this, everybody's talking about this. And now we have new artists, like Pink Panthers or whoever, all these new people that are coming up, um, who are people that nobody knows but the people that know them, you know. And there's always those
Yeah.
artists. Like you will always, even to this day, even with Billboard Hot 100, you could go and see whatever the number one song is, and I bet you probably haven't listened to whoever that is.
Probably not.
No.
Let's
It
test
might be
that
Taylor
theory.
Swift though, but right now it might be Taylor Swift. But
Oh
like
yeah,
on a
yeah,
different
yeah.
time, it might be a completely random person. Um, but that's what I'm trying to say though, because it's fascinating when I think about it though, because we live in this world where there are elements of this kind of like multiplicity, right? And of this like niche culture, and you have a lot of different artists, that are existing at the same time, to various
Yeah.
degrees of popularity. Yet those same artists are existing at the exact same time with people like Drake, with people like Kendrick, with people like Taylor Swift, people like
Hmm.
Adele, who are these remnants of a monoculture to the point that people still know, everybody knows who these people are, that's what's fascinating to me. Like Taylor Swift put out an album and immediately was like breaking records. And it's like, because this is like one of the few remaining artists that is big enough, like Beyonce or whatever, and everybody knows who they are, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right, by the way. I'm looking at the list, and with the exception of Justin Bieber and Taylor
You don't know
Swift
who the fuck
and
those are.
there's Morgan Wallen. I don't know who any of these people are,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Isn't that
Hunter
isn't that
X. What is
fascinating?
that? Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I feel like what's the closest thing I can think of to a Drake that are that we have post 2000s, like Travis Scott or something. That's like the
For
closest I can
sure.
even think of.
For sure. Because we have those guys that snuck in right in time, right? Because
Yeah.
it feels like now from the late teens and or definitely the 2020s is when culture stopped being, like binary. Um, but now but you have those guys. You have those guys that just trickled in right in time, like Travis. That trickled in
Yeah.
just right in time to be super big that everybody knows.
Just baseball slid
Yeah,
in
you
with
slid in,
rodeo. Just fucking
because now the everything's changed. All
yeah.
everybody now making art now has to then conform to the new system. And then with the understanding that they're never going to be however big somebody like Michael Jackson was.
Yeah.
There's going to have to appeal
Yeah,
to
the
their
day
audience.
exactly. Yeah, the days of like the movie star are over too. It's over. Like and dude, how do people even listen to interviews with people like I heard the other day or no, not the other day, a couple months ago. What am I talking about? It was like a jet what's that guy Jeff Daniels from uh Dumb and Dumber. and he's like in an interview on one of these million podcasts. Like, oh my god, the podcasts,
Yeah,
dude.
podcasts are
And they're
really
all
like,
like,
and they're exhausting, aren't they?
oh my god, they're all just so generalized too. Like, at least we have a thing
Yeah.
and topics that we
Yes.
prepare,
Yeah, but they're all
and
just
like
like
we have a
general.
general direction
Yeah.
that the podcast leans toward, which is film and
I
media,
feel bad for the
art.
actors though. I feel bad for them because now they have to do just 1,000 incessant, like, before an actor would have to do like a few press junkets and then go to like Jimmy Fallon
Right,
and
yeah.
do like a 10-minute interview before, like, I don't know, Seal or Justin Timberlake perform the song, but now they have to sit down with a moron, you know for like 2 hours
Yeah.
and then do it again. Like, I know that DiCaprio and Benicio went to that, like, to the football podcast. They went to like Travis Kelsey, like Taylor Swift's boyfriend. They went to his
Holy
podcast to
shit.
promote one battle after another.
Oh, man.
And when I
Yeah, they
saw
probably have to do a million of
and when I
those.
saw that, I just felt terrible. I was like, can you imagine one of the last remnants of monoculture actors, celebrities, DiCaprio, has to go to a podcast with some doofuses that don't watch movies. And the worst part of it is that I think I saw like a bit of it. This was like trending when they did that,
Yeah.
where the guy, the meathead guy, um, didn't know who PTA was, Paul Thomas Anderson.
What,
He
who,
couldn't.
Jason Kelsey,
Yes.
like his
No, the bro,
brother?
the other guy.
So there's Travis Kelsey and Jason Kelsey. There's a
Travis,
different guy on there?
that one. He didn't
Oh,
know
Travis.
because he basically talked about PTA as if he was Wes Anderson. Can
What
you
do you mean? Like, he
imagine?
just, like, what was he saying about
I
it?
don't know. I didn't watch it. I just saw like people talking and commentating about it. I think he basically like he tried to imply that a movie by PTA was actually like a Wes Anderson movie or something like that. He was basically
Oh, okay.
confused. He didn't know who the
Right.
fuck
He's
the
just
guy
like,
was.
he's like an artsy guy with all these pastel colors in his
Yeah, it's
movie.
basically
Yeah.
something like that, and it's like, and I
Shut
and I
up.
have I don't I have no intention of watching that, but I can only imagine somebody like DiCaprio sitting there being like, "Oh fuck, he doesn't know what
Oh
Wes
my God, I
Anderson
know.
is."
Oh God.
Oh, dude.
Dude, I mean, yeah, the I don't even know. I mean, you're probably onto something because they're probably exhausted, but it doesn't make listening to their interviews any less painful. I mean,
Yeah,
I've thought actor interviews are painful for like
they are
a
painful.
long time
They are
now,
painful.
but like, you listening to this Jeff Daniels. I was listening to this Jeff Daniels clip. It was just like a little clip that I saw on YouTube or something, like one of those short things. I try not to doom scroll on those, but it just popped up. And it's like, he's, of course, he's doing the whole like, oh, this country, Trump, blah, blah, blah. Oh, we get it. I got it. Just, I get it. You're sharing your opinion enough.
Yeah,
All right. No
yeah,
one cares.
yeah. No
All
one
right. No
cares.
one's listening to Jeff Daniels and like changing their mind. But he's
No.
sitting there like biting his finger and he's like, we've lost civility.
He's like he's seducing you.
We've lost the rule of law.
Yeah.
And then he's like digging in his ear, and then he like bites his finger again. He's like with, and then he says bullying is back. As much as the woke people tried to get rid of it, it's back. And it's like, oh yeah, yes, the people who harass someone for an old tweet and get them fired from those jobs, those people were trying to
Yeah.
end bullying.
Yeah, but you
Sure.
know that for him,
Sure.
he was just living in a bubble where he thought one thing about something and he probably never saw the thing for what it was.
That is huge right now, dude.
Yeah.
With all of these different spheres, like people they're just living in different worlds, man. It's like there's no, yeah, I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. But what's interesting is like you don't have um the like I said, the movie star is dead. So you have like a guy like Shane Gillis. And it's like he's not in with Jeff Daniels. He's not in with that crowd.
No.
Like he got fired off of SNL, but again, canceled. He's fine. He has a better career than ever right now. And then you have like what's that guy, Andrew Schultz? I've never seen a lick of his comedy. The guy with the mustache or whatever. He's one of the
He's not
Joe
Andrew Schultz is
Rogan.
not funny.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like it. His face just annoys
Yeah, no,
me.
he's
Like,
not
I
funny.
saw a thumbnail of him on Joe Rogan the other day, and I was like, "Of
Yeah, no,
course,
he's not
this
funny.
guy for the millionth time."
He's a professional podcaster. That's what that guy is, with a side gig of comedy. That's what that guy is. Like, I've seen enough of his
Okay.
comedy. He's not a funny guy. Like, he's one of those guys that spends all his time and all his material on the podcast to the point where whenever
Mm,
you see him doing comedy, it's just exhausting. Like, it's like he
uh,
exhausts everything. It's the epidemic of all these guys. All of
oh,
these
yeah.
guys
Yeah.
that are podcasters, like all these like part-time comedian, full-time podcaster guys,
Yeah.
without an exception, Rogan, Theo, everybody, all of these
Bill
guys,
Burr.
their comedy then sucks. It
Dude,
sucks.
when Bill Burr's Paper Tiger special came out a few years ago, I remember watching it, and I was just like, "This is the podcast. He already said all of this on his podcast. You're exhausting
Yeah,
all of it."
you told me
That
that. You were like, I heard him say all that, and that's the funny thing because, and it's interesting because I think you can probably see this. Like, you can probably go online, see the reception of their comedy, and how it like deteriorated through before and after doing a podcast. You know, like Bill before the podcast, great comedy, everybody loves it. Bill after the podcast, everybody's like, oh, Bill sucks now. You know,
yeah.
same thing with Rogan, even though Rogan was never good. You know, same thing with Theo. Because I think I told you about this, that Theo like bombed like recently.
Oh, yeah.
He was like filming like his new special or something, and he like bombed filming it. So much so that like half the crowd went like left, and it was like this like
That's
Reddit. It was
terrible.
like a trending Reddit thing. But again, it's
Oh,
like that's all these guys do. You know, it's like almost it's like you know, especially because stand-up comedy in and of itself is like this like spoken art form, right? It's not like you're like, you get what I'm trying to say, and it's like you're already doing all this
yeah.
speaking in your waking hours. You're doing all of it, you know. So
Right.
I don't know.
Well,
And
what
oh,
I
go
was
ahead.
gonna say with Andrew Schultz, the point I was gonna make with that too was is it's like he's a celebrity, but he's not in that same sphere as Jeff Daniels, you know? So again, it's what we're talking about, that fractured culture where I don't know, in some ways it is, while I do fear that whole idea of one day everybody just being like plugged into their own algorithm, and you know there's like a million AI generated movies. Obviously that's a nightmare, but I will say right now, it is kind of nice to have such a diverse range of voices, I guess, in a way. And it is nice to know that if someone were to ever be like, "Hey, look at Film Tangents number 4, Jake said, XYZ, oh, I bet he meant this. Let's get him." It's
Yeah,
like, okay,
yeah,
well,
whatever. Yeah,
there's
for
there's,
sure,
there's
for
always
sure,
a new
for
there's
sure.
always a new avenue, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I'm not big on cancel culture. It's they're just sadistic fucking people,
yeah.
man. They're sadistic people that just want to take people down. They want to put people on blast. It's like, Tyler the Creator's old tweets. I mean, who
Who
it was
cares?
15 years
Yeah,
ago.
it was a long time ago. Who cares? Who cares?
I
At
mean,
this point, it's
Goblin
like,
came out 14 years
yeah,
ago.
it almost to me it almost feels vindictive. Like to me, it feels like because I feel like at this point they know they're not really gonna get anything out of it. It almost feels to me like, oh, let's take the guy down a peg and see if maybe we get a reaction out of him. It just feels like that to me this
Mm,
time around. Like
for sure.
the goalposts changed from being like, oh, we're gonna cancel this guy to basically being like, let's embarrass him and let's get him to like, let's get a reaction. You know, it feels like that to me now. You know,
Right.
yeah,
Well, and also how much of it though is just people commenting, voicing their opinions at him, and then some news algorithm being like, "Oh, look,
100%.
Tyler the Creator is trending on Twitter. Let's do reports on him." I think the news also blows things up to make people look like they're being canceled when in reality 3 people commented on it. 3 bots commented on something being like, "This is offensive." And then the news is like, people are
Yeah,
getting angry
yeah,
about,
and that's a fascinating thing
what
about that's a fascinating
it's like,
thing too, right? That it's about a bunch of this stuff is like bots, just like AI and bots in, farming interactions, for whoever knows what company and whoever knows what country, right? But also that, like you said, it's like this aggregate thing where it's like making like a river out of like a few water drops, Um, and also I think the fact that something like cancellation or canceled and stuff like that is there's a buzz to it because of the counter wave to it, right? The
Yeah.
cancellation or whatever,
Mhm.
which infuriates me. Anytime that I listen to any podcast and they talk about stuff like that, it infuriates me
Yeah.
because people always talk about it like it's become like a huge talking point for comedians because comedians made it like their cross to bear that people were trying to cancel them and to cancel comedy. So that's become like a huge pet peeve to me, like people talking about that stuff in comedy, like comedians talking about it in their podcasts. But
Yeah.
because it's like we all know it's BS. It's like this weird like victim, like, oh, it's me. They were trying to cancel me for making terrible jokes. It's like, no, you're
It was like
terrible. You suck.
martyrdom.
Your
Yeah.
comedy sucks. um, it's like somebody needs to like there needs to be. I applaud that like elephant graveyard guy that keeps making those videos just shitting on these comedians for having terrible comedy specials, because with this like circle jerk that's been going on with these like comedy guys all going to each other's podcasts and this like which is sickening. Today Joe's here and tomorrow Theo's here and now Bill's here, and it's like I have nothing against Theo or Bill or a lot of these guys. I have nothing against them, but they're terrible comedians, and it's insane to me that they all just kind of pat each other in the back, and it's like your comedy sucks, bro. Like
You
why?
think Theo's a terrible comedian?
I've never liked Theo. I've never liked his
Theo
comedy.
Theo has made me laugh
This is
to
the
the point that I have
this is the
tears coming out
this
of
is
my
the
eyes.
difference, though. I think Theo is a funny guy, but I don't think he's
Yeah,
a good comedian.
like his
That's
specials.
yes, that's my thought. I've seen Theo specials. I've never liked them, and I've seen them. But that's just my opinion, it's my preference. But what I'm trying to put across is that I would love it if like there was a comedian, if one amongst these guys was brave enough to be like, his work in that special, the new special, subpar. Like when that Rogan special came out, that special is unequivocally terrible, by all accounts. Yet when it came out, fellow comedians that would come in, they'd be like, "Oh, I love that new special. They did great." And it's like, dude, why don't you have the balls to tell the guy that it sucks? Because otherwise, how do we get good comedy other than like the off chance that somebody like that's actually like good puts something out? We're just like we can't be holding our breaths for like Louis or for like Dave or for Bill to wake up from his coma that makes him terrible. Like we can't wait for these guys. Like like somebody needs to stand up and somebody needs to do stand up.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my soapbox about stand up.
Speaking of cancellation, was it Jimmy Kimmel is like back
He's
now?
back. Yes.
They were like, "Oh, the return." It's like what? After a week? Was he even off the air for a week?
Yeah, I think it was a
For
week.
a
Maybe a week and a half.
it was just one. It was 1 week,
Yeah, it was
right?
like a week.
What I want to know, because
No, but I agree with that though. I am all for the the uproar that came from that. I agree with everything that came from
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, also what he said wasn't even a dig at Charlie Kirk. It was a
No.
dig at. It was just a Trump
No, yeah, it
dig.
was not about that.
Yeah, like about with Charlie Kirk as the
In
context,
context.
but it
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, because when I saw the headline, like, "Fired after
You would
Charlie
think
Kirk"
he'd
comments, I
said
was
something
like, "Oh, boy."
outrageous. Yeah, no.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, "Oh, boy," and then when I saw it, I was like, "What?
It
That's
was like
just
it
a
was it was
not."
just one of those like mild political speak, like trying to just throw mud at the other side kind of thing.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, Jimmy Kimmel's awful,
He is
but,
awful.
yeah, I don't, I don't
Yeah.
want him to get canceled
No,
any
I
more
don't
than
have. Nobody will ever hear me defend Kimmel or Fallon or Colbert or any of those guys. All those guys, terrible. They're terrible. They're also terrible comedians. But it's difficult for them because I know they're doing it like on a weekly, nightly basis. So obviously the
yeah.
quality can only be so good. I'll always defend Conan, but that what can you do?
Oh, you defend Conan,
Conan's
huh?
great. But Conan's off the air. He's not been on the air for like 5, 6 years. But Conan
Oh, is
he was really good when he was on the air.
Yeah, he was all right. He had kind of that Letterman vibe, I
Yeah, for
guess,
sure.
that
A little
Jay
bit.
Leno
A
vibe.
little
These
bit.
guys, these Jimmy Fallon and Kimmel and Colbert, the main dudes,
Mhm.
they all are
The Jimmys.
yeah, they just have yeah, they have no presence. They're not likable.
No.
Colbert was funny when he was on Comedy
When
Central
he
and
was on Comedy Central, and
he did a
he had that
parody of
show.
Bill O'Reilly. That was
Yes,
his whole
that
thing,
was
the
his
Colbert
thing.
Report.
That was
That was
great.
pretty funny.
But after he
But
went to like ABC or whatever, he was just like another one of those guys.
yeah.
Another one of
They're
those
not
guys.
likable. They're not likable. They don't have like when I watch those old clips of like Jay Leno, you know, and he's just standing up there.
He has a
Oh, you hear
personality.
about this guy? You
Yeah, he
hear
has a
about this?
personality.
Yeah, this guy Edward on Film Tangents. He's talking about Tyler Creator should be canceled. What's this about?
Yeah.
You know, like
They had
it's like
personalities. Yeah.
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 You know what
But the reason why I loved
shocked me
Conan,
though.
by the way, as an aside, it was for the
Yeah.
same reason why I like listening to Theo's podcast. It is that Conan was, or is rather, a legitimately funny person, you know?
Yeah.
Like legitimately. You know, he wasn't a good comedian. Same thing with Theo. Like whenever he did like his little stand-up bit at the beginning, it was never like really worth revisiting. But his interviews and his interactions with guests were always like incredible. Like those stack a bunch of views. His If you want to have a great time, go back and watch Conan interviews with Bill Burr or Conan interviews with like Conan interviews with the comedians. And they are just worth every rewatch. They're perfect because Conan is the perfect audience. It's just such a funny, like eloquent guy. That's why I really like Conan.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, with Kimmel, I mean, obviously I knew that people watch. If no one watched, they wouldn't be on the air.
Yeah.
But I was kind of shocked because I clicked on a YouTube video from, you know, just one of the big news sources of him, the story of his return.
Hmm.
And I look at the comments and there's actually people like, "We love Jimmy.
Nobody
We're
loves
glad he's
Jimmy.
back." And I'm like, "People actually like Kimmel? Like he has fans?
Yeah.
Who
Nobody likes Kimmel.
watches this?" I don't dude, I don't understand. Like you told me Conan has been off the air for 6 years. I didn't even know
Yeah,
that. Like
he's been off for
who
a while. Because I liked that, you know,
how do
like
you
I've loved stand up for such a long time that I kind of sipped into a lot of like late night stuff.
Yeah.
I agree with the late night stuff because the late night stuff became terrible. You know, like after Conan
Yeah.
and like Letterman and all those guys left late night. But yeah, that's why I was kind of like in the pulse of that for a bit. That's why I know that Conan like had been off the air and stuff.
Yeah. I like the feel of the late night shows. I like the atmosphere, the jazz music, the little city background. There's something very kind of cozy
There is
about
something
it.
cool about that.
But yeah, like I don't know how you're what kind of time do you have on your hands where you're like, "Oh, time to watch Kimmel." Like
Yeah.
I don't know,
It's
man. I
it
don't get
it's a
I'm
waste,
like
you know, like I've never watched like an episode of any of that stuff. It's just a waste, like, 'cause it's just like, it's content. It's the definition of I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna like just veg out, you know?
yeah,
And you're not
yeah.
even vegging out watching like a fun show like Curve or something. You're just vegging out watching something, you know?
It's
Is
some hack
to me is the
making
equivalent.
jokes about Trump for the 50th night in a
Exactly. Like
row.
to me, it's the equivalent of putting just turning on the TV and whatever's on is whatever's on. Could be golf,
Yeah.
could be F1, could be anything. You just need the
Yeah,
TV to
yeah.
be on. You need noise to be happening, and you need the thoughts in your head to evaporate.
Yeah.
That's
I
that stuff.
respect that.
Yeah. But
I
that's
do that
that's
sometimes.
that's the stuff that Jimmy Kimmel and Fallon and Colbert and all those guys. That's what they're doing. You know, that's the feeling that they have. You
It's definitely true.
know. Yeah.
I mean, I do that sometimes, you know. I throw on
I
well,
do too.
all the time. I throw on TV in the background. I hate being in a silent
Yeah,
house.
I do too.
That's when thoughts start creeping in. But
Yeah, that's when you start running like Tom
thoughts are
Cruise
scary. Yeah,
in all
thoughts are
those
scary,
movies.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those thoughts just chase me.
Yeah.
No, I do like Bill Maher, but his is different. His isn't a it's not really a late night show. It's the format is similar, but he has like a he does the whole
There's a
you
panel.
know, opening monologue. Yeah, but then he has a panel.
Mhm.
He has one guest, and then he has a panel,
They talk
and it's
about current
actually
events, back and
talk about
forth,
current events.
different
There's
opinions.
sometimes informative people, but he'll get like, a conservative and a
Yeah,
liberal,
that's what's
or like
appreciated
two
about that show for
conservatives and a
sure.
liberal, or two liberals and a
Yeah,
conservative.
which is
And it's
important,
like then you get this kind of like sometimes there'll be like an explosion. Like he had
Yeah,
Dr. Phil and then a smart person on. So
yeah,
it was like
and an actual
and
doctor.
so yeah, Dr. Phil's just sitting there like, well, I mean, Bill, I don't agree with the law, but
Yeah,
I follow it.
yeah.
And it's just like,
Well,
what the fuck?
that's what's cool about that show that Maher has. I don't watch it personally, but I do respect it. And I respect anybody who has like a platform and they platform people with different opinions because I think that's always like very informative and just good, which to me again has just kind of been the main issue with a lot of these like big guys or big women with podcasts, that is just an echo chamber of just who do I like, who has my opinions, and you never see anybody with different opinions, and also it's a waste of time because at least with
Yeah.
that Bill Maher stuff it's like half an hour or whatever, or like an hour,
Yeah, it's an hour.
but then with like a podcast, you would have it'd be like hours. And it's like,
3 hour echo
yeah, it's like,
chamber.
oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, well, honestly, I would this is, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, but I would say there's an argument to be made that Bill Maher's show actually might be one of the better, maybe one of the best places to get your news from,
Mhm.
because you're not just vegging out in front of some
It's challenging you.
biased source,
Yeah.
like Fox News or CNN or, even NBC. It's like they're giving you the polish, they're giving you a spin, everybody's got a spin. But you watch Bill Maher's show and it's like he has on mostly informed people, politicians, political scientists, other journalists on, and Bill Maher's got the fact sheet, and he's picking the topics and they debate. And I think you could kind of extract more knowledge and truth from a format like that than you can from vegging out in front of Don Lemon in front of the microphone. Oh, well, Donald Trump said that the wall was going to be done by October,
If I knew who Don
but
Lemon
it's not
was,
done.
I would be able to comment on that, interpret on that.
But it's Oh my god, it's horrible. I remember one time,
I don't know
like
who that
when he
is.
was
I know his face. I just don't know how he sounds. So I don't know how good of an
oh,
impression that
okay.
is.
He was well, back when he was on CNN. I remember just one night, like I was flipping through channels and I landed on CNN, and I just had it on in the background while I was doing something, and
Mhm.
it's like that format where Tucker Carlson, it's
They're just
like
talking
that, but
heads. Yeah.
CNN. Yeah, he's just sitting there, but there's no panel.
Yeah, he's just
It's
talking.
like
And it's endless. It's on 24/7
I
of
I
just
was
that.
like, "This is unwatchable." Like, he
Yeah.
just sits there and he's like, "Well, the Republicans said that they were gonna be back in power,
Yeah.
but they're not.
Well, stuff
They're in my
scrolls
ass."
underneath and on top of him.
Yeah, yeah. Dow Jones down
Yeah.
2%. Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
like
that stuff's
I
insufferable.
was like I was baffled by how fucking unwatchable it
Yeah, it's
was.
insufferable.
Just him. Oh my god. Just his little, like, quips too at the camera. It's the same as Tucker Carlson. Like,
Mhm.
with Tucker Carlson, it's just there and he's just like, "The Democrats say that they wanna come to my office and fuck me up."
Yeah.
Well, isn't that civil for people who claim to be civil?
It's just stupid
Well, I
because
thought we were civil in this
it's
country.
just like it's just stupid because that kind of stuff to me is like TV shows. Edward famously hates TV shows. That kind of stuff to me is like
Yeah.
TV shows. That's like log this into the Wikipedia page or like, oh, Edward talks about how he hates TV shows, episode number 97. But it's just time wasting, because it's like there is a conciseness to information, specifically stuff like news, right? That if what you're really trying to give people is the facts, you can just say all that stuff in like a couple of minutes. This happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. Make up your own mind. But it's like with these people, it's like, oh, a turtle fell down, the drain. We're going to talk about that for an hour, until something else happens, and then when that happens, we're going to talk about that. and just drawing it out and drawing it out and just drooling over the whole thing forever. I can't stand it. That's how I feel about TV shows.
It used to be that film tangents would talk about
Yeah,
movies. Well,
right?
not anymore. Not since the Democrats got a hold of them
Yeah.
and they were bought out by CNN.
We
Now they
were
talk
I wish we were bought
about
out.
garbage.
Dude,
Now they talk about shit.
I would sell out this show so fast to the first seller. Not the best seller, just the first one. But
Well, it was reported the other day that Edward doesn't like TV shows.
yeah,
Well,
I
what's
don't
up
like
with
TV
that?
shows.
Why don't you like TV shows,
They're too
Edward?
long.
I thought you did.
No, they're too long. I like movies. I don't like TV shows.
Well, it used to be that Film Tangents was a good show. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not since these guys got older
Yeah, and sold out.
and stopped having shitty jobs.
Yeah.
Now they're not as entertaining anymore.
No, dude, Film Tangents went down the drain. Film
Blame the
Tangents
Democrats.
was good episode 1, and then episode 2 onward has been a steady decline of quality and content.
Well, let's move forward here. We'll do the movie. I'll keep an eye in so we have 30 minutes. That should be good enough for the Wolfman double feature.
I
You think?
agree. I agree.
All right. Yeah, so we got an hour to keep rambling here. What else you got, man? I
Okay.
got stuff for us too.
Oh yeah,
so.
dude, I have a million things. So if you let me go, I'll go forever. Can you please? Okay, I'm gonna ask you to do something. Audience, you can do this as well. I have been listening to albums alphabetically for years at this point. Stuff
Madman.
Yeah, interesting stuff happens sometimes when I listen to an album. For instance, recently I listened to Mobb Deep, and just as recently they released a new album
It was great.
called Infinite, and I think one of them passed away.
Mm-hmm.
No relation. It's just fascinating to me because sometimes I do things and then things happen in the real world related to the stuff that I'm doing. It makes me feel like I'm insane or I'm going insane, when news and artists do things as I am doing things related to them.
Sounds like you have main character syndrome.
I do have main character syndrome, but I do want to log it in because it's happened actually multiple times. I don't remember the other times, but in this episode 90 something of Film Tangents, Wolfman episode, the Mobb Deep thing happened, and this stuff has happened before actually. It's happened before. But regardless, that's not really the point that I'm making. Anybody listening to this show and anybody who's a long-time listener will know that we are fans of Kid Cudi in this show. And they will remember when I watched all of Kid Cudi, when I listened to all of his albums, and we had very lengthy conversations about them. I would like you, Jake, right now, tell me what is the number one Kid Cudi song on like Apple Music? Make your best guess.
Pursuit of Happiness.
Now, go to his Apple Music. Anybody in the audience, make your own guess in your head. And please, if you're in the mood of interacting, put that guess in the comment section. Comment what you think Kid Cudi's number one song is. After you do that, go to Apple Music, look up Kid Cudi, look at what his number one song is, and tell me.
Oh, it's Mowie Wowie?
It's Mowie Wowie.
What? That's crazy.
It's
going back to
get that Mowie
that
Wowie.
Mowie Wowie.
Yeah.
That Mowie Wowie.
It's Mowie
That's crazy.
Wowie. Now that we have established that, right? Tell me, Jake, answer my question. Why is this like 15-year-old Kid Cudi song his number one song? You have the answer.
Because he's got such a strong, strong, large and dedicated fan base.
Is that your answer?
It would be, yeah. Like that's what I would think.
That's
is there
your
something
answer.
I'm missing?
Think about it a little bit more, and then answer it again. I'm gonna give you like 10 seconds. Think about it actually, and then tell me.
Give me a real answer. Actually
answer.
try this time, you fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. Wait, is it something in the lyrics that I'm not thinking of?
No, you're thinking too deep. You're going too
Okay.
deep. It's not that deep.
Now you're going too deep.
Yeah.
You weren't going deep enough before. Now you're going too deep.
Yes.
Well, this has been on Apple Music for a little while now.
Yes. But if it, like, let me paint you a picture. As of
What is Maui Wowie anyways?
this is weed. This is a reference. It's like an acronym for it.
Okay.
Okay, so let me paint you a
Going
picture.
back to
I'm gonna
Honolulu
take
just to get that.
I'm gonna take the question off the table, okay? So let's say that like 2 or 3 weeks ago, right? 2 or 3 weeks ago, Kid Cudi's number one song was most likely, Day and Night or Pursuit of Happiness. And Mowie Wowie was like probably like his 200th most popular song. But what happened was TikTok.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. That is another thing. TikTok has made a lot of stars, dude,
Yes.
and it creates a
Pink
lot of
Panther is being
sleeper
one of them
hits
because she
too.
got really popular. She got even more popular recently because one of her songs. It just takes one person. One
Oh
person.
yeah, Pink
Yeah,
Pantheress.
it
Yeah,
just takes one person. She that nice to meet you thing for her.
yeah. People started doing that. Like they would
Yes.
walk up and shake someone's hand. Oh my god, dude,
Yes.
TikTok's so
It is
stupid.
so stupid. But the
I
thing
don't even
is,
know how I saw
dude,
that. I
but
think I just saw it because I have no idea how I
dude,
know
but
that.
that's the thing, right? That it's like if you went to a Kid Cudi concert, he would never have had Maui Wowie in his set list. If
No.
you go to a Kid Cudi concert now, he's gonna have Maui Wowie because it's his number one fucking song. And that's the thing. It just takes one person to do one reel and then put the song in there and then somebody else be like, that's cool. Because it's not even because of the song, it's just because of that little, that Maui
Mhm,
Wowie, like little bit that just it
mhm.
caught on.
Yeah, that's
And
how, Soulja Boy had another hit, like, a few years ago
hmm
because of that,
yeah,
which I mean, who would have
who would have thought?
ever thought Soulja
Who would
Boy
have
would come
thought,
back?
dude? Who would have thought? We should make a
Yeah,
song, dude. Somebody will make
yeah,
it popular on TikTok.
yeah. I was listening to a little, Sofago today, that
Yeah, I know
Rage
that.
guy,
Yeah.
and that's how he got popular was
Yes.
TikTok. It creates stars, but it also yeah, like you said, it creates these sleeper hits. That's cool. Again, there's, like, these little things that come out of
Yeah.
these new forms of media
Fascinating.
and this new
Fascinating.
fractured
Yeah.
endless number of subcultures and microcultures
Mhm.
that are good. Like everybody
Mhm.
talks all about the negatives of social
Yeah,
media
but there's good
and
too.
TikTok and all that stuff, but
Maui
that
Wowie.
is it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's not worth. I don't think it's worth
Yeah.
what society's becoming because of it, but
Yeah.
you know.
But yeah, dude, the other day it was that's
But
the
it's
but
I was just gonna
go
say
ahead.
it's so funny how like the general consensus is like social media is bad, and it's like yeah, but you all fucking use it.
Everybody uses
Like
it.
everyone uses it. No one puts their money
We've
where their
had
mouth
plenty of
is.
conversations about that here too.
Yeah, not to brag. This isn't even a brag, but it's like at least
Humble
I
brag.
put my money where my mouth is and
Yeah.
deleted all of it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
I don't
like,
have it on my
but
phone anymore. I
everybody
do
talks
still have
shit
the
about it.
account, so
Everybody talks out both sides of their mouth. They're like, "Oh, yeah, social media, it's just terrible."
yeah.
Spends 10, 15 minutes doom scrolling.
Yeah.
2 seconds later, it's like, "Holy shit, you are fucking physically
Yeah,
addicted.
it's addicting.
You're saying something and then directly contradicting it.
Yeah.
You know, "Oh, alcohol is horrible for you." Go, go, go,
Well,
go,
but
go, go, go,
that's
go.
the fascinating
Like,
thing too, right? Because they have it now down to a science, right? Meaning, or basically the science here is shorts. Shorts.
shorts.
Shorts are a
Yeah.
part of now everything. Obviously TikTok is the originator of this concept, but now it's like YouTube has a shorts section where you can just be on
Mhm,
YouTube and just never actually watch a YouTube video. You just
mhm.
you just spend the whole time just watching shorts, which is the reason why long form YouTube content has decreased in views as of the past like couple of months.
Oh, is that
Yes,
why? That makes sense.
because YouTube has made an algorithmic push to favor short content over long
Oh
form
my
content.
god.
So that's why you've seen like stuff like our stuff has decreased in views, and obviously we're a very small channel. But then you have people like name any YouTube creator that makes like long form content, and all of everybody's videos across the board have decreased. But the thing that's on the rise is shorts.
Ugh.
But again, Instagram has shorts, Facebook has shorts. Every single like platform, social media platform has like a shorts section where you can just interact with it through shorts. Um, they figured it out, man. They figured it out. They figured out like how do we
I
actually make people
hate
addicted to this? And the answer was shorts, and not only just shorts,
quick
but the fact
hits.
that shorts are randomized. So you're just getting this like random content, and the fact that it's random and it's just almost like this shuffle thing that you're doing makes it so people just keep going because they get it's like a dopamine hit. Eventually, you hit something, and it's like, oh, this is interesting. I'm gonna watch it for the next 60 seconds. It's
Yeah,
over. I want to keep going. It's just it's insane, dude.
it's disgusting,
It's
dude.
insane.
I'm. I'll tell you what. For me, like I freaking can't stand the goddamn shorts when I can't stand when I search something on YouTube and like the first three results are shorts. I'm like, get the
Yes.
fuck out of
Because that's what it is. That's what
oh,
that's what
it's
YouTube
not what I'm
that's what
looking
they want
for.
us to watch now. They don't want us to watch. Dude, and that's also to me that's very fascinating because I don't know who remembers this. There was a point in time in the history of YouTube, early 2000, early 2010s, like around like 2011, 12, 13, 14, those years. 15. Through those years, what YouTube favored was short form content, meaning videos within like anywhere from like 1 to like 10 minutes. Those were the days for a lot of people. A lot of creators came up on those days, making like short animated content, making short vlogs that were just 5 minutes of them talking to a camera. You name it. If you go back and you look at people who had big channels like back then, like Jenna Marbles or whoever, Game Grumps, stuff like that. If you go back, even PewDiePie, anybody who was making videos in the 2010s, early 2010s, you will notice that all of their content is like sub 10 minutes. All of them, without an exception. And then at some point, YouTube started favoring long form content. And then that killed all of those guys. All of those people who didn't cease to exist on YouTube, they ceased to exist because YouTube's algorithm said, actually, long form content is king, you know. And then those channels died. And then anybody who made like 20, 30-minute videos and podcasts came to the top, and that was the new king. And that was true until now, where seemingly we're going back to short form, and not only just short form, shorts, which are 60 seconds. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah,
Uh,
I want to champion. I want to advocate, Edward, for boredom. I'm gonna go on a limb here, and I'm gonna advocate for boredom.
yeah.
I'm gonna champion boredom. I am
Boredom, 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 boredom.
for boredom. Boredom, boredom, boredom. My eyeballs turn to drywall,
Yeah.
dude. Boredom. Be bored. Let yourself be bored sometimes.
People don't want it.
You don't need this goddamn machine in your hand just eyes glued to that goddamn screen all the time. Dude, I get my best ideas when I'm bored. I was like I was working the other day and I'm sitting there and I'm just like I got YouTube on in the background. I got music, just endless amounts of entertainment on in the
Yeah.
background. And I was like,
Cut it
I
out.
thought back to school and I was like, man, I just remember sitting in school just so bored, but also finding um
Imagination.
joy in retreating into my mind
Yeah.
and just thinking about things, memories, creative ideas, hopes and dreams, things I'm looking forward to. Like allow your mind to exercise
It, it,
itself
it
sometimes,
almost
man.
feels to me like it's like symptomatic of the times. You know,
Oh yeah.
like people just feel like people are just. I feel like people think. I feel like the thought people have, right, is like this is crushing. It's constant exposure to um polemic content. Like aggravating information. What's
Yeah.
happening? What's not happening? What's happening over there? All this like you know, wars and so on and so forth, that I think people just retreat. I feel like that.
Mm,
So to me, there's an element of it that feels like symptomatic, which I feel like when you go down this rabbit hole in my head, then it becomes like a new world order kind of thing, where it's like the world's manipulating us into, which it does kind of feel that way, especially when you think about the government owning TikTok, which is insane. Um,
Mhm.
which I think that's a deal. That deal is like close to being closed. Like the U.S. government's gonna own like a part of that thing. Um, which when
A
you
part of what?
TikTok, which when you think about that, it feels insane because it feels like does feel like some kind of new world order thing. But again, I'm not gonna put on my tinfoil hat or anything.
When you
This
when
is
you
a
were
movie.
yeah, dude,
This
when
is
you
a
first
movie
started
show.
talking about New World Order, I was gonna be like, and that's a good segue
Yeah.
into our O1 Mega X protein powder supplement
It's always like that, isn't it?
advertisement.
Like anytime you're watching anything and they're like getting to something, we're like, oh, this seems serious. It's like, oh, buy this dog food, and it's oh,
Yeah, yeah.
buy this protein, buy this
Yeah.
beer, buy this
We're living
IPA.
in scary times and we all need some comfort. For me, that's my dog. And I love my dog.
That's
That's why I buy the best pet food. Yeah, it's
that's the
always like
Joe
some
thing
shit like
too.
that.
Every time.
I hate when they catch you off guard because it's like you know when it's coming. Like
Yes, you do.
sometimes I'll be like, I'll hear them say a certain sentence and my radar goes up
There's like
and I'm
an
like,
ad's
is
coming.
this an
Yeah,
ad? And I'm
it
like, it
is.
fucking is an ad.
Yes.
Oh God. Yeah. Um,
My favorite
Dude, it's
sleeping
funny.
mattress is
I just remembered this. A few months ago, I was at this diner in Massachusetts,
I was there
and
too.
oh yeah, yeah, and we were and I was sitting in a booth with some people, and at the we're right next to the bar, and at the bar, you got one of these loudmouth guys, and he's like a loudmouth, Massachusetts guy. So he's like, "Oh yeah, go the departed, talk," like talking like that, and he's like talking the ears off some table about like conspiracies and politics. It's like people like that, dude. There anything worse than getting stopped by someone in public who's talking about conspiracies or politics? Like I encountered that at the gym a few weeks ago. I'm
Yeah.
walking out of the locker room and there's this poor like 15-year-old son of a bitch just standing in the corner, just cornered by this middle-aged guy being like, "Yeah, and you know what they're saying is that
Yeah, I have no time
the
for that.
Democrats." I
Like
was like,
that
"Oh
almost
God."
happened to me like a couple months ago. Not even a couple months ago, like a month and a half ago, where somebody I was literally at the grocery store and somebody came up to me and
Oh.
they were like, "Do you know about this current event?" That's what they
Ah.
basically said what it was. And I looked at them for like a couple of seconds. I didn't say anything. And like just looked at them. I was just like kind of looking at I just like looked at them just like, you know, and they repeated to me, they're like, "You know about this current event?" And again, I just look at them and I just said to them, like, "Hey man, I'm in the middle of my groceries. Like, no, thank you. Like, I don't have time for
Holy
this."
shit, did you really?
Yes.
Good for you, dude.
Because it's like I don't have, like it's insane.
It was just they just totally randomly just
Randomly
stopped
just
you
walked
while
up
you
to me.
were
Yeah, just randomly walked up to me. They were like, "You know about this that happened, yesterday?" And I had my ear pods on. I took one off.
Yeah,
And again, I
yeah.
was like looking at them. I was like befuddled. I was like, "What the heck is happening? Is this really happening?" And then you asked me again, and again, I was just like, "Hey man, I'm in the middle of something here." It's like, "No thanks." And then they just walked away. Like, but it was like, but that kind of stuff is insane. It's insane.
Lucky for lucky for me, I have a severe case of resting bitch face.
Yeah.
So
We're like, "Oh,
I
shouldn't
think
approach that guy."
people,
It's funny, dude, because like
yeah,
for me,
you got to tilt
I
those
was even wearing
eyebrows down a little,
earpods. Like
dude. They'll stop.
I was even like I was like wearing earpods. Like you're really gonna talk to a guy that's not even like listening to what's happening around him? You're really gonna
Yeah,
talk to me? I was just like looking at produce, like looking at vegetables.
yeah, you're too
Yeah,
approachable, dude. Didn't we
but
talk about this on one episode where we were talking about getting stopped by strangers
maybe.
talking our ears off, and
Maybe,
we were
but
talking about how
the funny thing
you're
is that
more
however
approachable than
approachable I
me.
may or may not appear, I am not a plastic guy. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not gonna be like, "Oh, sure, talk to me for 20 minutes." Like, no, get the heck away from me, bro. Like, we're not gonna
yeah.
do this.
Yeah, because I'm used to non uh my unapproachability being my first line of defense.
Yeah,
So
I've had to
if
develop
I was
my
in that
tactics.
situation,
Yeah,
yeah, you've had to develop like
being like,
extra
"Cut
tactics.
it out, sir. Get away from me."
Yeah. So that guy I probably wouldn't have said that to that person. I probably would have humored them for at least like a minute or
I cut that
two.
guy off immediately. I was like, immediately. I was like, "Hey, man, I'm in the middle of something. No thanks."
gangster.
Immediately
That's
cut him off.
gangster.
Like, don't waste my time. Like, nothing's
That's
more precious
gangster.
to me than my time. It's like, don't waste my time. I'm not interested in this, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, so when I was at that diner, I definitely would have said it. Jack and I actually did have to tell somebody. He was sitting next to us, and it was one of those whole like con artist type things where it was like, "Hey, can I use your phone for a second?" It was like, we had to be like, "Dude, no, we're done." Like,
No.
definitely when you're sitting at dinner or breakfast or something, it's like, don't start talking my ear off. But anyway, this guy was talking these people's ear off at this restaurant, and and then his like punchline. I don't remember what what his whole build up to it was, but then his ultimate punchline, like what he was leading to, his conclusion, he was like, and that's why if you really look at the big picture, that's why you really see what they're actually trying to do, which is to sell the United States of America.
Great, thanks, bro.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's
Like,
it's
Jesus, where do people get these
it's
ideas, man?
fascinating though when you hear the end of it, right? Like, oh, that's what you were building
I
up
know.
to that whole time. You're a cook.
Yeah.
Let's get this guy in the kitchen.
Well, the problem with
Make us
because
some
we were
waffles.
oh yeah, get back to work. It's like one of the cooks.
Like, this guy's a cook. What is he doing at the table? Somebody come get him.
Take that foil off your head and put it back on the fucking waffles. Yeah, that's the problem because we a few weeks ago I know we put on our conspiracy hats a little bit to talk about the school system,
Yeah,
but that was
dedication.
like a small. I really was trying to get the idea across too. But I was talking about school. It's like, look, I don't think this was actually like some big master plan. I think these,
Masterpiece.
these things just happen to be things that like the government's like, maybe we won't put that in the curriculum. Like, that seems a little like, let's just put this instead,
Yeah.
but at least with that, it's like we're talking about the U.S. government,
Right.
and public schools, and that's like it's believable that some sort of conspiracy could happen with like one entity. But some of these massive conspiracies, the problem with these like ultra conspiracies is that they fail to understand how intricate real power structures are. Like have you heard the conspiracy before where it's like, well, you know why we don't have the cure for cancer? Because it's way more profitable to charge somebody their
There's always
entire
those.
life for treatment.
Those are always there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've heard that one, right?
Yes, for sure.
And it's like, okay, there's no singular entity. What singular entity is telling all of these hundreds, thousands of biotech companies, independent biotech companies across the world, America, China, Japan, France, Germany, guys, don't develop the cure to cancer.
It's too much.
It's like,
Yeah.
no, dude, all of these biotech companies would love to be they would immortalize their company
Yeah.
if they discovered the cure for cancer.
Yeah, because sometimes
But it's
sometimes
like,
people have
but
this like
I've heard smart people, like smart people say that,
yeah.
and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like
Did your brain just have a? Did you just have a stroke? Did your brain just have a stroke?
yeah.
Did you just have a stroke?
Yeah. It's funny because sometimes people have these like conspiracy theories that are just like half baked. It's like, oh, you're not really a full cook. Like you're not really cooking like that, bro. Like
No.
this is half baked. Like put this back in the oven. Come back with something better
Yeah.
than this. Like this is
Yeah.
half baked
Yeah.
because like you just poke holes on it. It's like, well, you have to think about how elaborate of a thing this would have to be, sir. Put
Ridiculous.
that turkey back in the oven.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, Edward, I wanted to we're going into our Wolfman
Yes.
segment here. I wanted to ask you real quick. This will probably be a quick topic.
Yeah.
What's your we'll get into movies, guys. For the audience, at least on my end, I'm going to try to keep things a little more movie centric moving forward. I feel like I suck at talking about stuff like this, to be honest. Like
No, you don't.
large societal stuff.
No,
So
don't.
I kind of avoid it.
I think you have a very fascinating and interesting perspective.
Oh,
Um,
you're such a good
Well,
friend.
I like having this conversations, about this kind of stuff, and it's nice to switch it up because sometimes we have like our very movie heavy episodes, and sometimes we have episodes like this one where we talk about more like general subjects.
That is very true. Those general topics.
Embrace it.
Well,
Embrace the film tangents equation. Everybody, we tangent, and sometimes it
yeah,
goes everywhere.
you're right, man. I'm an overthinker. What's your favorite werewolf movie designs? What are your
Mm,
favorite werewolf movie designs? Do you have a
I
favorite?
think I do, because I have seen and that's fascinating. It's cool that you bring that up because that was a thought that I had watching the Wolfman.
Hmm.
Because I've
There's a
thought
lot of different
about
ways you could slice it.
yeah, because I thought about it, and I think I've only seen only four movies come to mind, and I'm gonna bring them up. And if you have more examples that you think I have seen, tell me, because sometimes I forget. But I have four examples, maybe five, but four. So the Wolfman from 1930s. I watched that this week, so I have that one in my head. I have the newest Wolfman design in my head. I have the design from Harry Potter, from the Prisoner of Azkaban design.
Hmm. Yep.
Um, and I have the design from an American Werewolf in Paris, or in London,
London.
London. And then I Paris. Funnily enough, there is an
It's
American
the
Werewolf in
sequel.
Paris. Yeah, and I've
Yeah.
seen parts of it. Um, and I guess you can also say like the Twilight Jacob guy, like that he becomes like a, but he just becomes
It's
a
true.
wolf. Like he just becomes this big wolf. I do like
Yeah,
them.
I
I
always
think
thought that was kind of lame.
it is kind of lame, but I do think the CG that they did on that stuff just looks like it looks fantastic. They did fantastic
It
work. Those,
does.
those things look incredible. Those like dire wolves look huge.
Hmm.
Um,
Those movies in general look great,
yeah, they did. They had just
honestly.
great special effects and just good camera work. But those are the ones that come to mind. Do you have anything else aside from that?
Yeah, those four, Van
I
Helsing
haven't seen those.
from '04. Um, The Howling. Have you seen The Howling?
No, I have not. I don't have a lot
That
of like let me see the Howling. I don't have a lot of like experience with like werewolf like content. No, I haven't seen the
yeah.
Howling.
Yeah, werewolves are hard to do. You could kind of see. I wonder if one of the reasons that vampires are done way more than werewolves is just practicality. It's a
For
hard
sure.
creature to. It's expensive. Like
Yes.
you either have to do CGI or practical, both of which are really expensive. Because one thing I learned from Game of Thrones, I learned this when I watched a behind the scenes thing on their ice wall battle where they had the mammoths.
I've watched that one too.
It's actually really difficult, or not difficult, but expensive to have a furry CG animal
Oh, for sure, because
because the
all that
fur is so
fur.
intricate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they actually were, I think in that Game of Thrones episode, they were considering just dressing real elephants up in sweaters,
Yeah.
like woolly mammoth sweaters, but they ended up having some spare CGI model lying around, like
Yes.
in the studio. Um, digitally, of course. But anyway, so
I'm looking them up. Like I'm actively right now looking up all the ones from the movies that I just mentioned to have like a
yeah,
picture for all of them, just to
yeah,
be
I
clear with what I think.
yeah. The other one that I'm seeing here that is Underworld. I've seen the first
I've not
Underworld,
seen
and
that.
then what was the other one? Oh, Dog Soldiers. I've seen that,
I haven't seen that either.
and I think that might be it here. I can't think of any TV shows. I guess Scooby Doo has a couple werewolves, but I don't know. Maybe we don't count animated.
No, I'm not gonna count the animated stuff because then I'm gonna get lost
Yeah,
in my head with that. I
yeah,
have a
yeah, yeah.
ranking. I have a ranking of the four that I mentioned, excluding the Twilight one.
Go.
I'm gonna go start from worst to best. So I think to me, the worst out of what I assume are maybe the four more most like iconic or memorable ones. Also, we haven't seen the Wolfman from 2010, so I don't know how that one looks.
That one looks good.
With
I've seen
Benicio,
that.
I haven't seen that one. But dead last, I am going to put the werewolf from Wolfman 2025.
Really?
I thought that was atrocious. I hated that thing. Um, it was just a dude, it was just a dude with patchy hair, like it just and teeth pointing out, like just kind of going out. Like I hated it. I thought it was awful. And it's funny because
Really?
I went on IMDb. IMDb has like this AI thing now where it aggregates reviews and then it like tells you a breakdown of what people think are the positives, the neutrals, and the negative. And the negative for the new Wolfman was where the werewolf design and the pacing, which I agree, But yeah, that Wolfman design, I thought that was I thought that was atrocious. I
Like, which one?
hated it.
Both of them? 'Cause his dad, I thought was
His dad
decent.
was
That
better
looked
than
more
him.
like the original movie. But
Yeah,
yeah, his I thought he was gonna
his,
have more of a
he was just
transformation, and
terrible.
then I liked the build up. Like, the build up, I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
Especially when he was in the back seat of the car and his daughter looks back at him and he's just kinda, like, sitting there with his mouth hanging open and his eyes are getting black and his teeth are getting sharp. I was like, "Oh god, that's fucking creepy." Like, I thought the build up to it was pretty good. But yeah, he didn't have much of a werewolfing, if you
yeah.
will,
No,
in the climax, which we'll
no.
talk about.
Yeah, but I didn't
Yeah,
like it. Like I just didn't like how it looked. I just didn't like it. And again, we'll talk about the
okay.
movie in a bit. But I just thought
Yeah,
that he just looked like, I don't know. He just looked like a weird like ER like patient, like victim. Like he just looked terrible.
crackhead.
Yeah, he just looked terrible. Like it was like it was mainly just like a few moves of the jaw and the face and the teeth, and then some stuff with the hands and the toes, and that was it. It was just a guy. And then it's like for some reason he lost his hair, which I feel like it would have been better to just keep the hair, and then he just
Yeah,
had
wouldn't isn't he supposed to grow more hair?
exactly, because then he just had like patchy hair, and it's like this looks It looks terrible. So that one's last. I would say that then the one that's a step above that one is the one from the Wolfman from the 1930s, I think. Because there's like a funny element to that one. There's
Yeah.
like a like, oh, this is just a dude.
Yeah.
He's just a hairy dude. He's just hairy. And I'm looking at him like he's just a hairy guy. And he has like a weird pig nose and the claws and like the long
Yeah.
nails, and he's just hairy. Like he
He's
just
got, like,
looks
an
like
afro.
yeah, he's a he just looks like a guy that you would see like out. He looks like you're like a
You're like, "Oh,
buddy.
that guy hasn't shaved in a while."
Exactly. He just
Yeah.
looks like that. So I don't love that one. And then I would say that three, so the one before last, or the one before being number one, I would say is the one from American Werewolf in London, where he just becomes this like beast wolf thing. But
Mhm.
that thing looks scary that he becomes in that movie.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, this he just becomes like it's almost like this like human. This it's just this really big werewolf thing that's on all fours, and he has a huge face and big fangs. Like I think I think that one's all right. Obviously, that one has like the most iconic transformation scene. There's no topping that. That's incredible. What they do in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
But then obviously,
Howling has a great transformation scene
oh, I'd have
too.
to see that. But then obviously,
Mhm.
I think to me in movie, the best one I've seen is the one in Harry Potter. I think that one's the best one.
Yeah, that one, I gotta agree, that one's the
It's
scariest. I don't
so
know if it's the
creepy
best,
and
but
weird, that one.
yeah, he's, like, lanky,
Yeah, he's lanky.
he's like a shaven dog. He's
Yeah.
like, he looks like the Rake, that creepypasta, the
Mhm.
Rake? He looks like a golem or
Yeah,
something, like
it's just
Gollum.
weird, tall, lanky thing. Like, it's really tall, but it's, like, really kind
Yeah,
of like crouching and slouching, and the
it's
face.
like a praying mantis
Yeah, and the face is,
almost.
like, elongated. Like, I just thought it worked in that movie really well. It was kinda shocking. So I give it to Harry Potter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure. Look up the, Van Helsing werewolf
Let me
because I
see.
think the Van Helsing werewolf design is probably the best. Like, I don't know if that's been topped
From
yet.
2014.
That's an 2004.
2004. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah, sucks I haven't seen that movie because that looks great. I'm looking at a GIF of it. Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really knocked it out of the park,
Yeah,
I
that looks
think, with
great.
the
It
Van
looks like something
Helsing
straight
one.
out of like Dark Souls. Like it
Yeah.
looks great. Yeah.
When there's 3 of them in Van Helsing too,
Really.
so you get, like at the beginning, there's, like, a gray looking one, and then in the middle of the
I'm looking
movie,
at the great
there's
looking
a,
one. Mm.
brown one that has, like, more of, like, a box kinda jaw.
Yeah.
Like, so the first one looks like like a wolf, the most wolf-like, and then the second one has this boxy jaw and these real tall ears like a jackal,
Yeah, I'm looking at like a
and then, like, the
picture of
third one is, like, kind
all
of like
three
a
of them
bear
together.
with a yeah, 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 I think I'm looking at the same photo, yeah.
Yes.
Like, that third one's cool because it's like it's got this bear kinda build, and then it's got, like, a
Yeah.
mane, you know, and
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
Um,
great. I like them. I think if I had seen that movie, I probably would have put that one because I think they take the Harry Potter one and just kind of jack it up a little bit more and make it more intense and more wolf and hairy.
yeah,
Yeah, they look really cool.
yeah. Yeah, Van Helsing, like, it's not I haven't seen that movie in a while. You know, it's the same director as The Mummy, the Brendan Fraser movie.
Mm.
He kinda does the Mummy treatment, but for the, gothic Universal monsters, so Dracula, Wolfman, and Frankenstein's monster. Um, and that one, it's not as good it's not q you know, I remember, like, the script had issues and stuff, but, there's some sick concepts and designs in it. Like Dracula's got a man bat form in that movie that he transforms into and like fights the werewolf. Like it's a really cool movie.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I guess I would say that's the best. Scariest would be Harry Potter,
Yeah, for sure.
like you said. I mean that, and just the way that scene too, like when he
It's just
transforms and they're just
upsetting.
standing there so
Yeah,
helpless,
it's just upsetting. And obviously
and then
that's
the
probably
later
the
scene.
best Harry Potter movie or like top 2 or 3 anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in the later scene too, dude, when they time travel and then they like howl at him and he like then it's like, "Oh, he's coming toward us now.
Yes.
We're in the
Yeah.
woods." It's like that shit's terrifying,
It really
dude.
is, dude.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then
Like, to me, that was
I
shocking
got to
when I saw it
say
as a kid. I was like, "Oh my god." I was, like, really scared of that thing.
oh yeah, that always scared the shit out of me. And then I got to say the howling probably is because I think The Howling actually, in I believe, was the first movie to do that kind of werewolf where it's like a bipedal wolf,
Mhm.
basically. But the howling werewolves are creepy because they have like these rabbit ears, and it makes them look really unsettling.
Yeah, these guys
I don't-
these guys look really like you don't wanna mess with these guys. They look like they have
yeah.
rabies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The howling werewolves are great.
Yeah, they look
I don't remember the
they look
howling
really
being all
scary.
that. Yeah. I don't remember the howling being all that great, but yeah, and the Dog Soldiers, I think, pretty much is an homage to the Howling Wolves because they look pretty much the same. Um,
Hmm.
those look good.
Those look good,
They
though.
got that mane that I like.
Yeah.
Like I like when they have that mangy kind of fur
They're
around their face. It
huge.
makes them look scarier.
Yeah. They're huge. I think if you make these guys, like, just huge and lanky like that, they just immediately become terrifying.
Oh
It's like, "Oh,
yeah.
this thing's
Oh, 100%.
humongous."
Yeah.
Oof.
No, I
Okay.
know, dude. Um, but yeah. All right. Cool. Well, we got that out in the open. Now you guys know.
Best wolf
Um,
friends.
Yep. Um, I guess we have time real quick probably to do this. I have a list here of 10 underrated horror movies with a cult following and I
Mm.
wanted to see what this is a list from Collider. They provided us with that solid list of 10 movies, underrated films by Oscar-winning directors
Yeah.
that we went through and
Yeah.
it stirred some interesting
It's funny,
conversation.
Collider used to be, like, I think AMC theaters, like, I think, Collider became Collider, but it used to be, like, AMC, which is fascinating.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember the
Okay.
days before Collider.
Yeah. So I got this list here. We can kind of go through it.
Mhm.
I got number 10 as at number 10 we got Malignant from 2021. What do you
What's
think?
the thing here? That
Underrated?
underrated movies with a cult following? Is that what it was?
Yeah, yeah,
Malignant underrated. I think so. I think I would say that. I think it was kind of like a little bit of like a sleeper movie.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I didn't like the direction that it went in the climax where it
Yeah,
got a little bit action movie for me, but,
yeah,
the buildup is great, and I still remember the big reveal.
yeah. That was shocking.
Um, yeah, I
That was
actually had it
shocking.
felt like like a punch,
Yeah,
like someone just punched me. It
yeah.
really was
But
like,
the
holy
movie
shit.
lost itself for me because I remember that then it kind of became comedic. Like I was just laughing
Yeah,
at the movie.
mhm,
But I do agree that it's underrated and more people should give that movie a shot. 100%. I agree with that.
yeah, yeah, James Wan did a great job with that,
He did.
man.
Yeah.
Number 9, here's a throwback for you, My Bloody Valentine from
I
1981.
was
I
like,
think that was the first
that's-
Film Tangents
yeah,
movie we ever
it
watched.
was, wasn't it? Oh God, underrated. Um,
Nah.
no, I don't think it's underrated. I do think though that if you're like a slasher fan, you should check it out.
Yeah.
Um, but it's not underrated. And unless anybody out there who doesn't have just an interest in like slasher movies or slasher horror villains, don't check it out. It's not a good movie, but it's like it's interesting. It's worth watching if you're
Mhm.
into that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose. I do like the idea of having a Valentine's Day themed horror movie too.
Yes.
Like holiday horror is always interesting.
Yeah.
Um, just kind of finding not necessarily for the holiday, but just a time of year. Like, how do we make this time of year scary? How do we make
Scary. Yeah.
February scary?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
It's good. It's a good little
like
twist.
how do we make yeah, how do we make July scary?
Yeah.
Well, we'll
How
have
do
it
we
take
make a
place at the
random
beach and there's
day
a big
like
ass
Friday the
shark.
13th scary? Yeah.
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 I'm glad you said that. I this was another quick thing I wanted to bring up. I noticed something kind of weird in these slasher movies,
Hmm.
particularly with Michael and Jason, because last week I watched Friday the 13th Part 4,
Like the final one or whatever.
quote unquote the final chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, which obviously didn't end up being true, but with Corey Feldman as a child actor in it. Actually good. Like Friday the 13th so far at least, because I've only seen the first 4 now, but
Yeah.
they get progressively better. Like the first one sucks, second one's all right, third one's good, fourth one's great.
Yeah, they
Like
like
I thought it was
they
really
just
good.
like get a like slightly better, and then they get and
Yeah.
then after that they just tank. They become
Yeah,
schlock.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Well, what's interesting too, what works for me really well with the Friday the 13th movies is they double as if they're slashers, at least for like 2, 3, and 4. I mean, the first one stinks, but this applies to the first one too. What I like about 2, 3, and 4 is that they double as slashers and like teen sex comedies,
yeah, for sure.
basically. Like there were a lot of those in the 80s. And I was actually kind of invested in that aspect of the fourth movie.
Yeah,
Like, because it's a bunch of, you know, campers in this fourth movie, like hooking up, and you're seeing like these little love triangles forming, and
then people
these
start
two dudes are
dying.
competing for that girl. And,
Yeah,
it's like almost like reality TV or like a mini, uh, you know,
yeah. It's funny.
mini
It's funny that you talk
rom
about that
com
because
or
I
something.
recently like a few like maybe like 4 or 5 days ago I saw a video by a in a channel called Nerdstalgic
Oh
that
yeah,
just
yeah.
references. It's like he broke down like the tropes basically. Like, oh, these are the horror movie tropes that a meta movie like Scream, like references, and this is where they came from, and he talked about those movies and that element of those movies, that kind of like, how that plays into
Mm.
the theme of the films and like how that specifically was like part of the horror, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, what I was going to reference with when it comes to Jason and Michael Myers is I noticed something interesting because Corey Feldman, like I said, plays like a 12-year-old kid in that movie, and Jason ignores him. He's killing all the you know teens and going at and adults, but he ignores him. There's several scenes where like the kid's within reach of Jason, and Jason goes after his older sister.
Hmm.
And I'm like, and I've noticed that in Halloween too, where like
They'll kill
Michael Myers
kids.
will run into little
Yeah.
kids, and then he'll just kind of like brush past
What's
them,
that about?
and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, what these guys have like
They have a code?
morality?
Yeah, they have a
Yeah,
code.
it's
That's
weird.
so stupid.
But then there's in Halloween 4, Michael Myers is like trying to kill his niece or something, so he
Yeah.
doesn't it doesn't really it's not consistent with Michael, but
Was whoever that
it seems consistent with Jason. Like
like
it's
Jason just has a
weird. I'm
code.
like,
That's so stupid.
yeah, I thought it was strange. I'm like, why is he not
That's
running after the kid?
that's so
They're
stupid.
just monsters. They're
Yeah.
like complete psychopaths.
Yeah.
It's very odd,
Very odd.
you
That
know?
is so stupid. Whoever wrote that or directorial decisions, stupid. It's like don't put your stuff
Yeah,
on that. It's like then it doesn't make sense. Yeah.
right. At least Freddy was honest,
No, Freddy
man.
was honest.
That guy that guy gutted kids like there was no fucking tomorrow.
Freddy was. I feel like the Freddy was like a reaction to that. It's like, really, you're gonna make a movie where these guys will have like a weird code? Not this guy. This
Yeah.
guy's raw to the core.
And I did research. I was like, is there any instance of Michael or Jason killing a prepubescent kid? And I think there was one of Michael doing it in Halloween 2018 or something. When he gets off that bus, I think he kills a dad and then off screen kills the 10-year-old kid. Something,
Hmm.
which I vaguely remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it, dude. Like Jason's never killed a kid. That's weird.
Well,
That's
good.
so
Well,
weird.
good on Jason. His moral fortitude, I
Yeah.
guess. Kill everybody. He can kill any and everybody, but not the little
I
ones.
guess you could to play devil's advocate with Jason, he was a kid when he
That's
drowned
the
or
only.
whatever,
That's
so
the
maybe
only
that's a
like
thing.
caveat that I can give him for sure.
Yeah. Even that though, it's like, dude, this guy, all he cares about is killing. He's
Yeah,
a complete
he loves
monster.
he
I mean,
loves
really?
he loves killing like the Rick and Morty
Yeah.
character.
Crumbopulous Michael.
Grumpulus Michael.
I just love
We just
killing.
love killing. Oh
All
god.
right, let me blast through these.
Go ahead.
Number 8 is Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon. I've never
I've
seen
never
that.
seen that.
All right, skip. Event Horizon, number 7.
You can speak on that. I haven't seen that.
I don't think it's underrated. I think it's people give it
It's due.
its due.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it says with cult followings,
Event Horizon.
but I don't even know. Event Horizon seems like it's surpassed cult status. It seems pretty well established, at least in horror as a force.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a sleeper hit where it later caught on. So I guess that is the definition of a cult status. But to keep this simple, let's just talk about underrated. I don't think it's underrated.
Okay. I need to watch it. I just
I
added that
hear
to my
people.
watch list because you watched it and you liked it, so I want to watch.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. It's a lot.
I bet. I bet. I'll give it my best shot. Give it your best
Number
shot.
6, another film tangents throwback, May from
Oh,
2002.
underrated for sure. People should watch that
Yeah,
movie. That movie, that was a good movie. It was just like a. I remember that we watched it, and I think the thing with that movie is that it's just like really off kilter and weird. Like it's a weird movie. Even how they shot it, and like how it's written and how it's acted. It's just like really off kilter and like weird. But that's a
yeah,
good movie. That's a good movie. I do think it's underrated and underwatched for sure.
yeah, I agree. Number 5, One Cut of the Dead. I've not seen
I've not
this.
seen. Actually, is it a zombie movie?
Yeah, from
I have
2017.
seen that, dude. I saw that. I saw that at a screening that Langston, to jump scare him, that he
Yeah,
put together. Um, I don't think the movie's underrated. I think the movie's overrated because actually most people that have seen it like it a lot. I did not like that movie. And it's like I felt like it was weirdly too long, and it's only like an hour and 20, an hour and a half. I disagree. I disagree. I do think it's underwatched. I think more people should watch it, but I didn't think it was very good. So it's like a 50-50 for
all
me.
right, all right. Number 4, Angst, 1983. I've not seen
I
this. Have
have
you?
not seen that, but funnily enough, that like it's insane because that actually came on my radar like a couple of days ago. And then I added it to my watch list. So I do plan on seeing that, but I have not yet. I heard that from
All
what I
right.
understand, though, it's kind of like the subject matter is kind of disturbing. I think the movie is like some kind of like ex-con that escapes, that gets out of prison basically, and then he goes back to committing crimes, and the
Mm,
crimes are very bad. Um, it reminds me of when we watched like that movie with the guy from The Walking Dead that was also in Guardians of the Galaxy, Henry the Killer or whatever,
yeah. Okay. Okay.
or Henry Portrait of a Killer.
Yeah.
The premise reminds me of that, and it also reminds me of like Martin, that like weirdo vampire movie that we watched. But I haven't seen it. I'll plan to see it whenever I see it. That we'll talk about it. Maybe next year around this time, I'll see it.
Yeah. I'm gonna add that to my watch list.
Yeah, it's on my
Sounds
watch
interesting.
list.
The next one is on my watch list. Number three is Altered States from 1980.
I have not seen that. I'm gonna look it up though, because I might want to add it. If you have it on there, it might be interesting.
Yeah, it looks interesting. It looks like a very psychedelic kind of horror film. Very, yeah, just
Altered States. Huh.
yeah,
I added
psychedelic's a
it.
good word. Yeah, I mean
This.
the photo they used is a photo of a seven-eyed lamb nailed to a cross, so
Yeah.
that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Um, oh, another one that I have on my watch list, number two, is Ginger Snaps from 2000. It's a
Ginger
werewolf movie.
Snaps. Let me look that up. I haven't seen any of those.
The actress is in Hannibal, actually.
Ginger Snaps. Interesting. Okay.
That's I don't think, I mean, just from what I know about that movie, I don't think that movie is underrated. It seems like
It has
another
every
pretty,
rating. Like people are just like really loving it on Letterboxd anyway. Add it to my
yeah,
watch list
people
too.
love, horror fans love this
Yeah, I
movie.
added
I
it to
mean,
my
this is
watch
like,
list.
as far as horror goes, this is pretty
This
mainstream.
letterbox,
This is a
this
very,
collider list at least has made it so I added like 3 movies to my watch list. So, oh, I
yeah,
want to
oh,
watch
there you
that.
go.
Yeah.
There you go.
What's number
Number
one?
one, it's another film tangents throwback, House,
Oh,
1977.
100%. Although that
I don't think it's
movie, it's
underrated.
not
I think it's
underrated.
given its due.
No, it's not underrated. It's not underrated like at all. I feel like if I looked at on Letterboxd, let me see, House. I think
People
it.
love that
I think
freaking
people love
movie.
that movie. Like
Yeah.
Hausu. I think I need to spell it with a Japanese name to find it. Yeah, I need to. It's funny because the title on Letterboxd is House, but I put House and I couldn't find it, and I wrote Hausu, and then it came up. Like House is sitting at a 4.0 even rating on Letterboxd. Um, and it has been seen by over 300,000 people, and it's sitting at a 4.0. I gave it an
I'm
8.
surprised it's only 4.0. I would think that movie would have like a 4.5
I give
with
it
how
an
much
8.
people love it.
You gave it an 8. We loved it when we watched it on Film Tangents. It's not underrated. And because 300,000 people have logged it on Letterboxd, I don't think it's underwatched either. It should not have been on that list. That movie is actually like
No.
popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No business being on this list.
No.
I do, you know what is on my watch list? The American horror movie that's also called House from the 1980s.
Mm.
That one looks interesting. I've heard that one has a good fall vibe.
Mm.
Maybe I'll check that out. I
I'll
don't
check
know.
it out.
There's too many, man. I've already watched like over a dozen horror
1985.
movies over the past like month and a half
Yeah.
for the season. And it's like, there's a couple rewatches I want to put in there. And it's like, I don't know. It's just, you can't get to them all, man.
No,
It's
you can
like,
get to them all. And it's funny because
ugh.
I added all these movies. I even added the one you said, House, at the end. And it's like, I'm probably never going to watch those movies.
Right. Yeah,
I'm probably like,
exactly.
never going to watch them.
Yeah, there's so many
I
that
have
have
like
just been sitting
I
on
have
my
like
watch list.
4,000 movies on my watch list. I'm never gonna watch these movies, man. I haven't
No.
to this day. I haven't seen like Schindler's List. like
Oh, really?
I'm never gonna watch. Have you seen Schindler's List?
I have not seen
Yeah.
Schindler's List. That's crazy that we haven't seen that.
Yeah, so it's
I
like
think we kind of tanked the podcast by both admitting that.
yeah, we did. It's like we just both lost our reputation. I've seen Citizen Kane, everybody. You can't take my you can only
Yeah,
rip
I've seen
my
Citizen Kane.
you can only rip my cinephile card in half, but I've seen the other one, and we've seen the Shawshank Redemption, so maybe you can only rip it in like a third of it because we haven't seen Schindler's List.
Nah,
But
you could take a corner off.
yeah, you
We've
can take a
seen an
corner off.
obscene amount of movies.
Yeah, we've seen an obscene amount of movies. But what I'm trying to say, but the point I'm trying to make by that is, to this day, I haven't seen like certified like classics. So I'm probably not gonna. I'm probably never gonna watch. Whatever the heck I just added, House or whatever. but it's on there now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, same with, like, Altered States. It's like I added it because it looks interesting, but, when am I ever really gonna sit down and be like, "Let me put on this weird
Yeah.
ass psychedelic horror film?" It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And there's also
I'd rather
movies
just,
and there's also
t
movies, like, lingering in my head that I need to watch. Like, I remember that there's movies that you've talked about here that I've like, "Oh, shit, I gotta watch that," that you've talked about them, like that movie with, those guys, it's been a handful of Oscar movies that have come that I've not watched them, you know? Like, you watched this movie, I'm, like, blanking on it, but one of the actresses won like a Oscar for best supporting actress, like like a black lady in the movie. You know what I'm talking about? It's like this movie with like some guys at a school or something.
it was this year?
It was like last year or like the year before that.
At a school, um,
Like the movie reminds me.
uh,
I'm like, why am I forgetting this movie? You've seen the movie. It was an Oscar movie. Um,
mm, mm,
and the supporting
I don't
actress lady
know.
like won an Oscar. And it has the guy from that wine movie. Um, man, what is going on
Oh,
with my
yeah,
head?
yeah, 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 the Christmas one.
Wine movie,
Wine
Sideways,
from what
Paul
is it?
Giamatti,
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah. What
Holdovers.
The Holdovers, yeah, that's a
Oh
great
my,
movie. Yeah, that's a
oh
good one.
god.
Watch that one at Christmas time. Save that for
What
Christmas.
I'm saying is that
That's
like
my
there's still
recommendation.
movies like that, that I still haven't gotten to. It's on my watch list. It's been on my watch list forever. You like loved the movie, and I'm like, oh, I gotta watch The Holdovers, and to this day I haven't watched it. So it's like I'm probably never gonna get to those horror movies. It gets a 4.2 on Rotten Tomatoes. You gave it a 9 out of 10. Like I've been meaning to watch these movies. Probably never gonna watch Altered States. Um, but I can't
I gotta
believe.
say, I'm surprised by how few movies you watch these days.
Yeah, I
Because
know.
I don't even feel like I watch that many movies, but I still clock a good like 2 a week
Yeah,
on
I clock
average. It
one a
seems
week.
like.
I clock the movie that we watch.
That's so funny, man. Like
But
I don't know. It's just it seems like I accidentally just trip into movie watching because
yeah,
I'll just like I'll be with my girlfriend and it's like
I've slowed down, dude.
we do stuff all day, and then it's like, all
Watch
right,
a
guess
movie.
we ate dinner. Let's watch a movie
Yeah,
now.
no, I've slowed down. It's funny because in college I was watching one a day. Sometimes in college I was watching like two a day, and now I'm just kind of like, I just watch like one a week. But it's funny. I'm like mad at my brain that I didn't remember the holdovers. I didn't remember Paul Giamatti, and I didn't remember Sideways. And it's like, Jesus Christ, I've seen Sideways. I know who Paul Giamatti is. It took me. I had to search wine movie, then click on Paul Giamatti's face to find the movie that I was trying to talk about. Let's get into the movie of the week, please.
Yeah, yeah. You want to get into it, or you want to go into
Oh,
recaps,
I can go into my
or do you want to
recap.
save? Say what?
Yeah, I can go into my recap real quick, and then we can talk about the
Yeah,
werewolves.
we can do like a rapid fire in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
So
I have nothing to add to my
if you think
recap.
you can,
I haven't seen any movies or anything. The only things that I've done is listen to a Mexican artist by the name of Natalia Lafourcade. That's her name. I'm gonna list the albums that I listened to. This is for people who speak Spanish, or anybody who has an interest in Spanish music, or anybody who just loves great sounding music, even if they can't understand it. Um, I listened to her album Hasta la raíz. I listened to Musas, which means muses, 1 and 2, which is just kind of her re-recording like classic songs. And then I listened to a song for Mexico 1 and 2, which again is her re-recording kind of classic like Mexican songs. Um, and all I have to say about those 5 albums is that they are all stellar, like 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 kind of stuff. Just all beautiful works. I know it might be a little bit more difficult to somebody if they're not a native speaker, because for me, I also grew up listening to a lot of these songs, and that has like an element of it for me, of like my appreciation. But she's incredible, and the albums are incredible. Natalia Lafourcade. That's my recap. I'm not gonna go in depth
nice.
with that because I don't think most people listening to us probably don't even speak Spanish. So I don't want to waste anyone's time.
All right, man. I'll rapid fire for real. Friday the 13th, the final chapter I watched, as I mentioned already. Yeah, best Friday the 13th film I've seen. I probably won't really watch any of the others, because you know how these slasher
Yeah, they
franchises
go
go.
forever. Do end up watching like 20 different Jason. They're just endless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I might watch. might check out Jason Lives.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've heard good thing. I've heard that one's like a fun, campy one. And then I still haven't. I've never seen Freddy versus Jason all the way through.
Neither
I've
have
seen
I.
parts of it.
Yeah. I've seen
It
parts
doesn't
of it
seem
too.
like anything crazy, but it just seems like a cultural thing, like where it's like, it's a versus movie. But whatever.
But you watched
All
part
right.
4, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
part 4, Friday the 13th. Threw that on like last week at night. And then I don't know why I needed those details. Shut up, Jake. All right.
I
And
was
then
just feeling, I got a burger. I was like, it's Friday the
yeah, I got a
13th.
burger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sat down on the left side of the couch.
Yeah.
I watched Jack and I went to see One Battle After Another
Ah,
in
that's right.
theaters.
Please don't tell me a single detail about that movie. Don't tell me
Uh,
anything. Not a
all right.
single thing. Not a
All
single
right,
thing.
all right.
Like
Yeah,
if there's a
perfect.
movie, if there's
That
like a
makes it
one movie
easy
a year that
for
I could ask you not to do that, don't tell me like a single thing.
I got you.
We'll talk about it.
That makes it easy
Mm.
for me to rapid fire. Um, and then last night I watched Creepshow for the first time, the Stephen King and George Romero anthology film that they made from 1982. I thought it was a mixed bag. Obviously, the infamous cockroach
Ugh.
segment of that movie,
Yeah.
which I highly recommended to Edward if, to
Yeah, I can
just
go. I
watch
can go a lifetime
the
without that
last
one.
quarter of that movie.
Uh,
Some of the most horrific imagery I've ever seen in my life.
yeah, I
As
don't want. I'm not
you
going.
know,
I don't need that.
as one of 7 or 8 billion people. How many people are on this fucking planet at this point? Is it 8 billion
It's like over
now?
8 billion.
Yeah, one of 8 billion plus people who dislike cockroaches. That was some of the most horrific imagery I've ever seen in my entire life.
Mm,
But overall, Creepshow is a mixed bag. I was kind of expecting more, but it's kind of interesting too because Stephen King wrote it, and you kind of see how sometimes the literary mind doesn't really transfer that well to film. Sometimes, because I've heard people say that in the past, like, well, sometimes books don't transfer that well to movies, and I've always been a little skeptical of that.
yeah.
But it there's certain things that if you write it in a certain way and then it is on film, it's like you can tell the same stories that you would tell in literary form as you would in film, but
Yeah.
some of them you have to tell in a very different way in
Yes.
film. Some of them
Yes.
you don't have to alter too much at all. But it just depends. But in this one it was like, these feel like they felt very literary. It was like these don't feel like the pulpy kind of stories I would expect to be in horror film form.
Yeah.
Not pulpy, but like thriller. Very visual, visually oriented.
Yeah.
Etc.
Yes.
And then on the music side of things, I listened to lots of albums this week. Um, During my weekdays here, I listened to "Look What I Became" by Conway the Machine, just kind of a random Conway album. Really loved that. Could pretty much add the whole album to my rap, one of my rap playlists. And then I listened to "Live, Laugh, Love" by Earl Sweatshirt finally.
Mm.
Um, did you listen to that album?
No, I don't think I have. It doesn't
Yeah,
trigger anything.
it
No,
was
I haven't. I
okay.
haven't listened to it actually.
Yeah, it was okay. I just don't know how much mileage we can really get out of this style anymore of like lazy. Like you were talking about Mike and Wiki
Mhm.
a couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
and I'm kind of with you, but I would also put that on
On
Earl
Earl.
too, where it's like I just don't. How much mileage can we get out of that? It's like this is the fourth album now. No,
Yeah.
like fifth album because
Yes.
there's that
It's been a
Alchemist
long.
one too
It's been a handful of them.
of him doing that. Like I just did and
Yeah.
it's like, oh god, over like you know, a lot of great beats, but some
Yeah.
of the beats he picks too are really redundant loops that just
Yeah.
get kind of annoying after a while.
People love that album, that
So
Live, Love, Laugh one when it came out a few months ago.
it was all right. People are gonna love anything Earl puts out.
Yeah,
Like Earl, people are really. I think people are biased towards him.
they are
I
for
don't
sure.
know.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, and I like Earl Sweatshirt. I'm a fan, but I
I am
just don't
too.
know how much mileage we could really get out of this style anymore.
Yeah.
Um, because even like MF Doom changed it up. You know, he's definitely like a Doom style rapper, but MF Doom, like all of those projects,
Yes,
Operation Doomsday,
he
Food,
did. He changed it
Advil, and they
up.
all sound
Yeah,
distinct.
yeah.
You know. Um. Okay, and then I listened to Ty Dolla Sign's new album Tycoon. Kind of interesting. Rage music still seems to be the rap subgenre of the day because there's a lot of rage beats on this album. Um, yeah, Ty Dolla Sign. I mean, I like him. He's great, obviously, as a feature. Free TC, the album that he dropped in 2015, is still one of my favorite, like rap. Certainly one of my favorite West Coast rap projects ever.
Yeah.
But this album was just like I don't know. There was like two songs on it that I added to my playlist that I actually liked. The rest was just these I don't know, like Ty Dolla Sign doing rage songs. I don't know, like over rage beats. It was whatever. I was expecting some more West Coast sounding stuff. But then even the one West Coast thing, he has a song on here with Kodak Black and YG,
Mhm.
and it is horrible, Edward. It is like one of the worst songs I've heard. And not just because of Kodak Black. I
Yeah,
mean, Kodak Black is like my least favorite rapper of all time, probably.
yeah,
But um it's called Smile Body Pretty Face. Yeah, and it's horrific.
yeah,
It is the cringiest fucking song ever.
yeah.
Oh my
I would put that on
all
Kodak
3 of them.
and Ty. Yeah.
Ty Dolla Sign, Kodak, and YG are all cringe on this track.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that was a whatever album. I didn't even really listen to it. I kind of skimmed through the new Gucci Mane album, and it's like I can't. It's so fucking long. 25 songs of redundant
Just algorithm
rap
stuff.
beats,
Yeah.
algorithm stuff. It sounds like it was just made by a piss poor AI.
Yeah.
Like I adore pre 2016 Gucci Mane, like the stuff he was dropping while he was in prison, the stuff
Pretty
those
jail.
tapes that he released with Zaytoven back in the 2000s, and his Chicken Talk mixtape that he released in '06. I love that stuff. Like great beats that were all very unique and all had their own identity. Gucci Mane had so much personality in his bars. And this shit, I mean, it is like they've taken Atlanta Trap's dead, dude. It's like
Yes.
they've taken it. It's like they took it into a Walter White meth lab and we're like, we're gonna boil it
Yeah, they boiled it
down
down.
to its most
It's like it's an
basic
algorithm
atom.
now. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And it's like this, oh God, I can't even waste my time on it.
Yeah.
Um, and I listened to that Infinite album by
Mobb
Mobb
Deep. I
Deep.
heard it's good.
It's one of the best rap albums I've heard in a long time, dude. It's
Hmm.
amazing. Partially produced by The
Yeah,
Alchemist,
I'm only gonna go back to that
actually.
once I'm done with the album. I'm not gonna go back to Mobb Deep. I listened to them. I'll be back there
Ah,
again
dude.
in the future.
Mm, I would highly recommend, sir, that you reconsider that. You should listen to that
I'll
album.
be all right.
Uh,
It'll be there by the time I'm done.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
So good. And then I listened to Heads I Win, Tails You Lose by The Alchemist and the rapper Oh No. Their group is called Gangrene. Oh No is Madlib's brother.
Yeah.
I think he could have come up with a better rap name than that. That's my only problem with
He
him.
made a he made a
He's
few
good though.
albums with he had a handful of them that were like with this guy named Blue. This like Blue and Oh No albums. But I guess now
Oh,
he did
okay.
one with The Alchemist.
Yeah. Yeah. That was okay. Um, yeah. And I listened to Summertime Butch 2 by Benny the Butcher. I finally that came out a couple months ago. And that was incredible. That was also one of the best rap albums I've heard in a long time.
Yeah.
Just endlessly I think I added the entire album
Yeah, I'm
to
gonna have to get there too
my
eventually.
playlist.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was incredible. Incredible beats, endlessly, endlessly entertaining bars from
Yeah.
Betty the Butcher.
He's the man.
Um, yeah, and that's it. That was my best attempt at a rapid fire. So there you go.
Hey, look at you. Well, get us into the movie of the week, sir.
Well, the
For the
movies
movies.
of the week
Yeah.
were we did a double
Double
feature
feature.
this week. Um, The Wolfman from 1940 something, and Wolfman, no the, from
Yeah, from
2025.
2025.
This
Yeah.
past this past January, which should already raise alarm
Trace
bells because it
alarms.
came
Yeah.
out in January.
Yes.
Uh, so I think we should just open the floor to talking about both of these movies
Yeah,
and comparing
100%.
them right off the bat.
Yeah.
But you can tackle whichever one you want to first. So just go for it, dude.
Okay. Well, I guess we've kind of touched on the movie a little bit, like before we got here, because we talked about the ranking of the wolf designs. But I guess I want to start with some positives for both of these movies. I would say that for the original Wolfman, it just looks fantastic. Like
Mm.
it looks fantastic. And that old like Universal Studios like forest lot that they had, like their little like
With
that
the
thing,
fog
yeah, that thing
going through.
looks insane.
Yeah, the
Like, yeah,
lanterns, like,
it
just
just
it just
yeah,
screams Halloween to me.
yes. The movies just look that movie just looks really great. So I think first and foremost, I want to say that about that movie just looks really good. Um, and then for the Lee One L movie, I wouldn't go as far as saying that for that movie. It just kind of looks very modern movie aesthetic, I would say. But I did like the gimmick. I'm gonna call it a gimmick because that's really kind of what it felt like to me. That Lee One L had with like showing this subjective camera perspective, right, of the wolf transformation and what it's doing to Jon Snow. He looks less like Kit Harington in this movie
Yeah, yeah.
than I thought he would. He's kind of lost a little bit of the Kid Harrington-ness, which something interesting that I want to point out is that Kid Harrington recently made a movie called The Beast Within, 2024, and it has this is like the picture of it, like
Oh,
the
yeah.
and it
So they
says
both did Wolfman.
it says protector, provider, predator. It's like,
Hannibal.
dude, but it's like, like when I read
Remember the
that,
Hannibal tagline from a
yeah,
couple weeks
yeah, I
ago?
remember that. But when I read that, I was like, this just seems like he made the Wolfman before the other guy, Chris Abbott, made the Wolfman. Because that's also what the Chris Abbott movie is like. Oh, he's the father, but he's also the Wolfman, whatever. But I liked the 1981. I liked how it looked. With this one, it just looked generic. Nothing about how the movie was shot really stood out to me, other than that, like, again, that kind of gimmick of like, oh look, to him, he can't hear them. The sound muffled, and things look blue, and a little like, it's a little bit of like this like weird distancing effect going on.
Depersonalization,
Yeah,
kinda.
so I dug that, And then with the original Wolfman, I liked the music of the movie. I liked it, and I liked some of the performances, and I liked kind of like the little romantic thing that he had going on with that lady, with Gwen,
Mhm.
because she was engaged.
Oh, yeah, I know. He's a pushy fellow.
And it's funny because he is pushy and kind of like a creep at the beginning of that
Oh,
movie.
it's so creepy.
He's so
That was like the
creepy.
'40s version of Ryan Gosling in The
Yes.
Notebook, where
Yes.
it's like, he's doing all this crazy ass shit to get this girl's attention.
Yeah, he's so creepy, and how he gets like, she's bringing a friend, and he's kind of not happy about it. He's just kind of weird. He's like a weird, creepy guy. Um,
Mhm.
but I mean, it works for him. Like, she's like willing to leave her fiance for him. She's like, take me with you. I'm going with you. And I'm like, you've known this guy for like a week, and all that we really know about this guy is that he's a weirdo and a creep, and now also a wolf man. He's a wolf man. And it's funny because she also accepts it. She's like, I guess you are a wolf man. And then she goes searching for him. I won't get to that, but again, I liked the performances. I feel like the meaning behind the original Wolfman, kind of like the movie, what the movie's trying to put across, right? I liked that. And then for the Lee Wanell movie, I did like that he brought his Lee Wanell-ness, and by that I mean like his very slow pacing, and how he's trying to create this like atmosphere, right? Of like, oh, this is slowly brewing, things are
Yeah, the new one
coming.
had great
Yeah, it had
atmosphere.
great atmosphere, and I have to give it to that. You know, and I think for my positives, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with all that. I like the common thread. I didn't realize that these movies had a common thematic thread of like generational curses,
Hmm.
or
Yeah.
generational. It was like a very much kind of a hereditary
Hmm.
theme
Hmm.
going. I didn't realize the original had that too. I
Yeah.
didn't remember that.
Yeah. And that was
But the
was interesting
original
to me.
has that.
Yeah. That
Hmm.
was that
Well,
is what was interesting to me about that movie. You know how his father like
yeah.
kills him in the end.
How was Father what?
Kills him. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. I first watched the Universal monster movies when I was 8.
Hmm.
I discovered them when I was, like, 8, 9 years old, and I just watched all of them,
Yeah.
like, in the span of a couple weeks, like Dracula, Wolfman, The Mummy, and Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein. And dude, I remember the ending of The Wolfman just fucked me up for, like, a day after watching that the father kill him, and then there's that sad music, and that woman says a
Yeah.
blessing over him, and he
It's like
transforms
now
back
you
into his
sleep
human form.
forever. Yeah. And
Oh
it's
my
also even
god.
like
That still gets me,
it's also
dude.
even like painful or like tough, you know, how the father's just in shock, and then the police officer goes like, you know, Gwen was being attacked, and he saved her, you know, and the wolf killed him or whatever, and the dad's just kind of like. It's like, oh, I
Yeah.
can't, you know. Even and
Yeah,
then the
that's
movie just
totally
ends
what happened.
immediately, you know. That was pretty cool. I
Yeah.
liked that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, great ending. Like, all those Universal monster movies were freaking sad,
yeah,
dude.
and they look great.
Except for Dracula. Dracula's
I
not
haven't seen
really
that old
sad.
Dracula.
Dracula's
I'm meaning to.
It's alright.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of the original Dracula. It's kinda boring. It's just like a very it's like a stage play, kind of. And same with the original Mummy, too. The original Mummy, I think, is cooler because I like Boris Karloff's performance better, and I think there's a couple good creepy scenes and atmospheric scenes, but those were you gotta remember, those were in the 30s.
Yeah.
So the Wolfman was in the 40s, and it definitely feels way more, um, advanced. Like, the cameras looked
Mhm.
better,
Mhm.
music was better, like, the filmmaking had made a lot of strides in just those 10 years.
Yes, for sure.
Um, but, um, yeah, so I thought that common thread was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I think the Lee Wanell movie, though, bashed you over the head with it and made it really obvious,
Yeah.
just
Well,
appealing to those, LCDs,
yeah. Well, it's
like,
funny. It's
just
funny how that's a recurrent thing for
bashing
us
us over
now.
the head.
But
Where I think the original was more
it was more
subtle with
subtle,
it,
and
where
it's
and I also
go
thought
ahead.
the angle in the original was interesting because I thought they were kinda making a commentary on, like, mental health issues
Yes.
at the time
Yes.
and how those are treated and
Mhm.
how they were just kinda treating him like he was being silly
Mhm.
almost
Mhm.
and like he was, they just weren't handling it correctly,
Yes.
not that you really could with this, ailment, but,
Mhm.
um, yeah, so I thought there was some interesting commentary there.
Yeah. No, and like you said, I really appreciated that about that movie. You know, this, like you said, this kind of hereditary element of it, and how the dad basically failed his two sons. You know, by
Yeah,
insisting on handling things the way that he thought was best, which was basically just like keep it in the house. Let's not let it out. You know, let's not invite gossip or it was just like about the family name kind of thing. You know, and
yeah,
then that he ended up without a family, which was very fascinating.
for
But like you
sure.
said, like the newer Wolfman movie, like it just beats you over the head, and that's really what I didn't like about this Lee Wanell movie. It just everything is just telegraphing, and everything is
Mhm.
exposition, and the dialogue is terrible in this movie.
Yeah,
Like it was just terrible. I wrote it down. I'm not gonna go like that deep into it because we don't have that much time, but like it, there was an instance where like he found out that they sent him the letter being like your father passed. Here's the keys to the house, you know. And then he just tells that to his wife and daughter. His daughter's like, "Are you sad, Dad?" He's like,
My
Who
god.
wrote this? You know,
Oh,
and
yeah, that's and then he's, like, telling his daughter his 8-year-old daughter some
yes,
deep shit
yes,
where he's
you
just
know,
like, "Yeah,
I wish he
well,
was here.
sometimes I feel like
Yeah,
I wanna talk to him, but I can't,
yeah.
and now I want to." I'm like, "Dude,
It
you might wanna tone it down
it
in front
it
of."
it was just insane. And then the next scene that you have after that is that he meets his wife as she's like going on her break at work, and all of a sudden he implies, he's like making these implications about the relationship, and I'm like, where was this? Like, I didn't get this. Now you're just saying this. They're like, oh, I think we need
Yeah,
some family time, and and I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, it was just, all of it was just terrible. Like, I was just like, the whole time I was like, this dialogue's terrible. I hated the fact that it was like this weird father son thing at the beginning, which I have a big criticism of that, because I thought this movie would have been served better for the character of the little boy if the film, instead of starting like when the dad like wakes him up in the morning, if it started with them actively out in the hunt. Like, I thought that would have been much better for the film, because I thought the boy's characterization failed how he acted in the woods, is what I'm trying to put across. Because we're trying to say that this is kind of like a 12-year-old boy, right, who lives with this very kind of like strict kind of military father, yet he does anything but listen to him when they're out, like when they're out in the woods. And I felt like that really that was like a huge contradiction. The fact that his dad is like, 3 in the morning or whatever the heck, when he wakes up, and the boy immediately gets up, makes his bed, acts like in a very kind of proper, like straight way. And you're like, oh, I guess this boy's like really like, but then in the woods, he's like
yeah,
not listening, going off his own, doing his own thing, not paying attention. It's like, so I wish the movie had just started with them looking out at that big view, of the mountains,
yeah,
especially because the movie ends with that shot. And it felt to me like Lee Wanell was like, look, I started it with this father son thing, and now it's a mother daughter thing. And I was like, yeah, but you didn't really start it like that. Like, you're ending the movie in that shot. You started the movie with a shot of like ants eating a wasp that never came to be. Like, that was like the most stupid
yeah, what
shot,
was that?
because then it just didn't pay off. It didn't pay off in any way whatsoever. Um, and then I question the themes of this movie and what this movie is trying to put across. I don't have that much to say about the Wolfman 1940s. I just thought it was okay. like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
guy was a
same,
creep,
it's
and the
fine.
movie looked great, and the ending was thematically resonant to what the movie was trying to say.
Yeah,
But
it's iconic,
it's
you know?
iconic,
Those Universal monster
yeah.
movies are iconic.
But
Br
um,
Bride of Frankenstein's gotta be the
yeah,
best,
and
you
and
know?
the guy was a little bit of a creep. I did like his relationship with that lady, and I felt like they have like really good chemistry. um,
Yeah, they did.
and but the ending pissed me off because it was so like forced that she was there, because she just
Oh,
out of
yeah.
nowhere shows up there, like out of nowhere. I didn't like that. That was like my main gripe with that movie, that it felt like forced like tension, because he was like saying that he saw her, the mark of the star on her, and I'm like, yeah, but how are you guys gonna make it so that he puts her in danger or whatever? And it's like, oh, she's
Yeah.
here, out of nowhere and for no reason, because she doesn't know he's out in the woods. He was in his house. He was like tied down by his dad.
Mhm.
Regardless, I thought that was like the biggest kind of like, you guys shouldn't have done that. Otherwise, I enjoyed the movie. I thought
Yeah.
it was good. Um, but
My
with
thing with that is I
Go
feel
ahead.
like there's one too many scenes in that movie where, Lon Chaney Jr. is just like, You don't understand. I'm not being silly. Something's going on with me." You know, and it's just like, "Alright, yeah, you
Yeah,
said that in the past
yeah.
3 scenes."
There
Like
were a handful of those. There were a handful of
and
those.
it's like an hour and 10 minutes. They didn't even
Yeah,
it's
the
like
movie's just an hour and 10 minutes, and it's funny because too. My other gripe with that movie was that I just like that guy was too old. Like, he was too old. They referred to him as a boy a lot of the time. Like, this guy looks like he's 40, and like he's huge,
Yeah.
and he's humongous. He's like taller than everybody here, which pays off in when he becomes a wolf man, because then he's like this huge dude with this silly makeup, but it looks scary because the movie's black and white, and you see him from afar, and it's really
Yeah.
dark, and. But he's too old and too tall. Anytime that anybody called him a boy or referred to him as if he was like a guy like in his like early like 20s, I was like, movie, you're losing me. You're losing me with this guy.
Yeah.
But regardless.
I think with the universal monsters, I think they're really culturally important, not just because of the iconography. Obviously, the designs are all iconic, whether it's Bela Lugosi's Dracula or Boris Karloff's Frankenstein. But I think they're really important with the characterization of the monsters because I think it really those movies, along with King Kong, really paved the way for how a lot of horror would view monsters moving forward.
Yeah.
Like we moved away from it a little bit because then we had pure evil monsters like Freddy Krueger and things like that.
Yes.
Um, but it definitely those definitely established the idea of either you know kind of these monsters like Dracula or the Mummy who sort of come into a modern context and start disrupting this place with their supernatural forces, or guys monsters like the Wolf Man or Invisible Man, who or Frankenstein's monster, who are monsters against their will,
Hmm.
you know.
Yes.
um so I think they were really important movies in that regard too.
Yeah.
But yeah, continue.
But then my gripe with the Lee Wanell movies that I felt like the movie just didn't make sense. Like it was something to point out is that it was written by like four different people. It was like Lee Wanell. The main credit is given to Lee Wanell and a guy named Corbett Tuck. But the story for the movie was actually conceived, and I think by four different writers. So this is one of those like too many cooks movies,
Yeah.
which to me, like watching this movie, like from the very beginning, and it's dedicated to Corbett Tuck's father. I think it has like an in memoriam in the end, and it's like somebody nice named Tuck. I can only assume it was the co-writer's father. So I guess there's like a personal element to the father son thing in this movie. But the thing that stands here is that this movie was written by way too many people, and it just comes
Yeah.
across like that. Like the dialogue is just so like contrived and trite, and just this forced exposition, and like you said, just like this very inorganic dialogue from like father to his daughter, and then the dialogue between the Chris Abbott and his wife, and also that at no point does Julia Gardner sell that she's that late like girl's mom. Like the relationship that she has with the girl like actress just feels like they're just both like, oh, we're ladies and we're actresses and we have to pretend. Like it feels like a make pretend,
Yeah.
um and I don't know, like it's just so much about this movie just feels like an artifice. Like even Chris Abbott, like his performance just looks so tired. The guy looks so tired in this movie. And then everything he does on the screen just comes across very kind of like I just woke up at 5 in the morning and I have to be here. Like, uh, I don't know, like that. It was just with this movie was just like a very like an amalgamation of elements, But again, I feel like the
Yeah.
movie was confused with its themes because you're starting with this film about this father and son thing, right? And how they're living in the woods, and I guess the father was like in some weird task to hunt these wolf people or something. I don't know. He was very scared in that first scene where the wolf man comes up to the door of the little like tree hut thing. Um, and then there's an implication when he walks into his dad on the phone that they have some kind of history, or the dad has some kind of history with these wolf people, you know. And then then he ends up fighting with the wolf. That turns out that it was his dad at that point in the film, anyway, and he ends up killing him, right? Contrast to the original Wolfman, where the dad kills the son, the son kills the dad in this one. But the thing that it begged me in my head, I was like, what is this movie really trying to say with all this stuff? Because, you know, Chris Abbott says to his daughter, like, I'll never hurt you, he's like trying to the movie's trying to present him as like a very protective father, and he's trying to do his best to protect his family, right? But then he becomes like ill with this thing, that's like that makes him into a destructive force, in the household. If I'm thinking about this like in a symbolic way, right? But then the movie becomes like a like I don't know. It's like it almost becomes like a abusive father movie, and it feels like it never was supposed to be that. And it ends up being like a mother daughter defeated the abusive father movie.
Yeah.
What's your
I
take
just
on
think
it?
Yeah, I
It
mean,
felt like it felt like A
I
Quiet Place again. Like it just felt like another one of those. Like, oh,
yeah,
okay, I got it.
I
Thanks.
know, man. We gotta stop with the monster as metaphor thing. Like, that started with the Babadook.
It did start with
I
the
blame
Babadook.
the
It
Babadook.
did start with the Babadook.
And when Babadook did that, it was like, "Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Alright, the monster's a symbol." And
yeah,
it but then everyone started doing it, and it's like, "Holy shit." Like, it doesn't have to be a monster. Yes, monsters are always symbols of something, but they can be a symbol of a lot of things. Like, if you look at Freddy Krueger, it's like Freddy Krueger is not a symbol of one thing. It's
right,
like you can't say like Freddy Krueger is a symbol of grief or he's a
right.
symbol of the it's
No,
like no, he
there's many
represents
things.
like a lot of different
Yeah,
things, you know, and it's more
scene by
interesting
scene,
because
movie by
you
movie.
can debate with people like what Freddy Krueger really represents. You
Yeah,
know, does he represent abusive adults? Does he
hmm,
represent, you know, the like, does he represent vigilante justice? Does he represent like, you know, you could have a debate about it, but
right.
with all these movies, it's like cut
It's
and dry.
concrete.
Nope,
Yeah,
the
it's like very
Wolfman in this
concrete,
movie
like what this is
represents
supposed to be.
this.
Yeah,
This monster represents her grief. Enough with that shit,
yeah,
man. Enough. And I just knew it was gonna bash me over the head with it. The second
and it did.
that scene where the little girl's walking on top of orange construction material,
Yes.
and the dad's like, "Get down from there!"
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Here
"Oh
we
god,
go.
alright, here we
Yeah.
go. It's gonna be about abuse, and it's gonna be."
Yes.
And the whole twist that, like, the Wolfman was his dad, I was just like, "Oh my
That was
god."
stupid. That
It
was so
doesn't
stupid.
I know, I was like, "It doesn't you don't need that." It
No.
could have been, like, the Wolfman that killed his dad,
Yes,
and
that
you
would have been
still could
better.
have gotten
Yeah.
the
The
theme
point across.
across.
Yes.
The generational curse theme
Yeah. But
still comes
but
across,
it
but it was
was
just so
dude, and it was
obvious,
so
and
stupid because I read some stuff about this because this movie pissed me off so much that I like started reading about it like because I was like how was this conceived that was like my it's like how did they do this obviously Lee Wanell made the Invisible Man he was successful they were like make another one Wolfman whatever that's very clear Lee Wanell seemingly was obsessed with that little gimmick that he kept he did that way too many times like this is the
oh, yeah,
Wolf
that
Bishop
camera
this is
gimmick.
he did that like way too many times like the first 2 or 3 times I was like great I got it and then he did it like 6 times in this movie. I was like, dude, get over it. Whatever. That's not my point either. Sorry, Lee Wanell. Not personal. It's just the movie was not very good. But the issue that I had with this thing, it's like I looked this up, and it's like they were like so like happy and like they were like so like I don't know, I'm looking for a term, but they were like so like self-congratulatory with like the whole like and the dad's the Wolfman thing and how happy they were that they would that was like a twist in the movie. I was like, like really, you guys were like that in love with this? This is so stupid. And they like apparently filmed that fight scene with the dad like 20 different ways just to see which one they thought was better, which again just was like a way too many cooks thing.
Yeah.
Like yeah, like, and there's a point in the movie where when they're in the car, something moves behind Christopher Abbott. Did you notice that?
No.
When she starts the car, she's like trying to start the car, and the windows in the car are like all kind of like frozen over. You can't really see well. At like an hour, I actually put a mark because I was like writing stuff while I was watching this movie. At specifically, let me see. Blah, 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 blah. I wrote it, he's a superhero. This is like a superhero movie. At an hour, 4 minutes, and 45 seconds, something moves behind Christopher Abbott. And I wrote, is that intentional? Because that caught me as one of those things where it's like, am I supposed to assume that that was the Wolfman that moved behind Christopher Abbott and shot? But the
Yeah.
reason why I wrote, was that intentional, was because something went off in my head where I was like, this doesn't seem intentional. Like this seems like a mistake, like a goof that they left in the movie. Because then when the Wolfman actually appears, he's just like on the top of the hood of the car, which is so stupid. It's so stupid how
Yeah,
they
like, how do you get there so
like yeah,
quietly?
this movie's so stupid. Like it's so stupid. But then he's on top of the car. And I was like, how would he why would he have been running behind the window behind Christopher Abbott in the direction that seemed like he was moving towards the car, and then he's
Right.
on the car. Like I was like,
Right.
that makes no sense. Like he was moving like
Yeah.
lateral to the car. It's like he was moving away from it, like he was rounding it. If I took the Christopher Abbott shot to mean anything, but I was like, that makes no sense. That's why I wrote that down. I was like, that makes no sense. I went back and re-watched that shot, and so then I went on IMDb because I just needed to find the word that was mentioned somewhere. It wasn't in the goofs. I was like, how was that? It was not a goof. It was that a PA walked into the shot,
Holy
and
shit.
the reason why it's not considered a goof is because Lee Wanell was like, that was one of those happy accidents, like painting little
Oh my
trees. And
god.
so he was like, we left it in the shot to spook the audience into thinking that was the
Oh
Wolfman.
my god.
And that
Can
should,
you even
yeah,
believe that shit?
dude. So that should tell you, I have nothing else to say about this movie. That should tell you everything I think about this movie. Just that should tell you. This movie, I just thought this movie was awful. I pray I never see this movie in any way whatsoever again. It was
I
awful.
didn't think yeah, I thought the build up was
It
solid
was
in this
alright.
movie and it was very atmospheric. I thought it was some scenes were actually frightening. Like I actually felt like some dread, some legitimate
Dude, let
dread.
me let me let me
Um
let me
and
let me say this. I'm sorry to interrupt you. This is I actually put down the quote on my phone. He said, I'm just gonna jump to the end of the quote. He said, "I was like, that will scare the hell out of the audience." And then he said, "These mistakes do happen."
oh my god. Come on, Lee. And Lee Wanell has been great so far. Upgrade, Invisible Man, those were great. Like Invisible Man was fantastic. But Invisible Man, like he didn't beat you over the head with the themes. Again, it's like the Invisible Man, like, yeah, okay, he's a symbol. He's not really a symbol of an abusive ex, though. He is an abusive
Yes.
ex. That's the difference in
Yeah.
Invisible Man. It's like, what if an abusive ex also had an invisible suit and unlimited money? And it's like, oh shit, that's scary. Like it just this. But let me say this. Here's what I'll say
There was
to
no
wrap
payoff
things
to
up
that
about
horseshit with him and
Wolfman.
his daughter being like, "What am I thinking?" There was no payoff to that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, there was technically in the treehouse when she said he wants to be put down or whatever
Yeah.
because that was like her reading his mind or whatever.
Yeah, but then even when that happened, dude, that made me so furious. That
Yeah, I
that
mean,
made
I'm not saying it was good,
yeah,
but
that
it
that made me
was.
like so angry, dude. I was like, really? Like, whatever. I'm done
Yeah, the
talking about it.
daughter
Yeah,
is going to be the one who
like,
tells the
oh, we
mom.
have to kill
So
our
yeah,
that dad, you know. And it's like, oh, really? That's why he's
people.
chasing you guys? Because he's like, oh, I wrote this down. And I was like, why don't you just jump off a cliff? Like, why are you doing this to your wife and your daughter? You're like, oh, you guys have to kill me.
Right. Yeah, people are just so out of touch these days, man. I feel like a lot of writers are just really out of touch. Like we were talking about that with 28 Years
Dude,
Later
it's
with
funny
the
that you
skull
mentioned 28
tower
years
scene.
later. It's funny that you mentioned that. Like it is really funny that you mentioned that because I screenshot this on my phone at 5:56 p.m. today from 28 years
Uh-huh.
later. This is a quote from the director of the movie Titan that we watched in the show. And this is why I this is part of the problem. And I love Titan and I really like this director. This is part of the problem. This is what she said about that movie. She said it made me cry my eyes out. She said. She said the bone temple scene, it makes them beautiful. It makes them art.
Oh my god.
This is why but
Ugh.
this is to me this is part of the problem because to me this is why people make these movies like Wolfman that are just extremely like idiotic movies or movies
Well,
like
because they're in the Hollywood bubble. They
exactly
don't. The
exactly
movies used to be made by people like this is. Why people love Stephen King so much? Because he's a corn-fed, blue-collar American from Maine,
yeah
and he knows what it is to be a person.
yeah
You
these
know,
movies are too
he
detached from
wasn't. He
humanity,
didn't just
man.
grow up in some like Hollywood family. It's like no, he was like the child of a single mom in rural Maine and was like in his 20s struggling to pay his bills and he had kids and like was retiring to the boiler room in his trailer to write while he was an English teacher. like, and had to take summer jobs, folding like sweaters or whatever.
Yeah,
You know, it's like that's why Stephen King tells good stories because he has real life experience. Like a lot of these people out in Hollywood, they're just like the child or cousin or nephew of
exactly.
someone in the
Which
industry.
that's a
They
conversation
grew
I
up
had
with a
today
silver
too.
spoon
Just
in
like
their
all this
ass.
nepotism, man. And that's another that's
Yeah,
another
or just weirdos
yeah.
like that. Like I don't know if the director of Titan is a
No, it's not.
nepotism baby.
No,
She
but
might not
they're
be,
kind of a weirdo for sure.
but they're just weirdos. They're
Yeah,
like just these weirdos who never like really lived. And then I'm making sweeping statements. I don't
yeah.
know anything about her, but
Neither do I.
you know, if that's your opinion on the movie, it is.
Like
But I'm just making a
it makes
broader
sense to me that she would
statement
say that
about
about 28 years later because it's like of course she would say that because you made Titan, so of
well, yeah,
course.
Titane's
But
garbage to me, but
I don't think it's
I know
garbage.
you liked it, but
I guess the point I'm trying to put across is that she seemingly is a very kind of you know a person that thinks in their own way. I'm just gonna say that. So it makes
yeah,
sense, and she makes obviously very kind of bloody and gory movies. So to me, it makes sense that
yeah,
somebody like that would watch something like that and be like, "Oh, I found that really emotional." But I feel like the fact that somebody like that found that really emotional is part of the problem. Because it's like, who is this
yeah,
movie? Is this movie made for them? Is this like supposed to be like a niche movie? you know? But I feel like the issue is that this movie is made by, like you said, these people in Hollywood that have like no connection to anything, and then it just ends up resonating to like weird outsiders, and
yeah.
not to the actual public that's supposed to receive them. Um,
Well, it's like made by weirdos for weirdos.
exactly.
You know, it's like
Yes.
movies used to be made for middle America. They used to be made just for
General
people in
audiences.
general.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's like, I like not every movie is gonna be for everybody,
It's always
but you
this
get what
movie
I'm
is so
saying.
stupid. Like, how do you write characters like this? How do you write like an 11-year-old girl and have this dialogue and have
I
these
know.
scenes? And at
Yeah,
what
it's like,
point do you
do
ask
you
yourself, like, how do
know
humans
how kids
behave?
talk to their parents? Do
Yeah.
you know how parents talk to their
Or how would a
kids?
kid
Like,
behave in a situation where it's like, oh, my dad became a wolf man, he's about to kill us? Actually, no. I can read his mind, and he's telling me to tell my mom to shoot him.
yeah. Have
God,
you ever
man.
talked to a human before?
Yeah.
That's what I wanna ask people people who write stuff like this. Yeah, it's
God,
weird, and well, also too, I will say
terrible.
this, like, a huge issue with this movie is it just puts in no legwork, and what I mean by
No,
that is just it feels very lazy scene-wise, action-wise. So, like, that opening scene or sequence with the kid and his dad, it just ends
it
haphazardly.
does.
It ends with him making a noise behind his
And
dad.
just
His dad
leaving.
looks back at him with some stink eye
Yeah.
and then turns around and then it ends. And it's like, if you want to make an opening sequence with an abusive father, not that I really want to see this, but it's like you kind of got to make him abusive. He
Yeah.
just yelled at the kid a little bit.
That's all he
You know,
did,
he
and
was
it was
abusive, but
justified,
it's like,
but it was
yeah,
justified. It was justified. It's like it's like with how aggravated he was in terms of like, the danger that his son put himself in. It's like it is justified. I wouldn't even classify that necessarily as abuse. It's not like how it came across to me, you know, because it's like at some point you have to. Um, I feel like at some point that behavior is excused in a film when it comes to the context. And I feel like in context,
yeah.
I didn't perceive it that way. I really just
Well, yeah,
perceived him as
especially when you're handling guns.
exactly. Like I really just
Yeah.
perceived it as like just a very like strict guy.
That's how I perceived it too. Like I had already gotten a hint that this movie was before I had seen it. I can't remember if it was through marketing or through a letterbox review that this movie was about abuse
Yeah.
and abusive parents and generational cycles and whatnot. So I kind of, but yeah, I wasn't reading it really that way until halfway through the sequence, and I was like, oh, he's supposed to be abusive. I thought he was just like a drill sergeant dad.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like I think back to like the people under the stairs when the mom is like making up that scalding bath and like throwing her daughter into it, and I'm like, yeah, that's abuse.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just like you're not doing anything interesting.
No, and the funny
Like that
and,
people under the stairs movie scene is interesting.
but that was
You're not
also
doing
the
anything
issue.
interesting. He's just snapping at his kid.
Yeah.
And then same with the climax though. It's like there's no real like, have something happen, like in Don't Breathe, you know, it's like the dog's chasing her. She climbs a dresser and gets into the vent. Oh shit, now the dog's in the vent. Now I'm
Mhm.
falling through the vent. Like, do
They don't do anything
something.
with it.
You
They
know,
don't
in
do anything.
Alien, it's like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, I'm trapped in this room with this thing, and I gotta figure out this plan to get this blow this thing out of the airlock."
Yeah.
But in this movie, it's like, one foot in front of the other, we run to the treehouse and then shoot your dad, and
Yeah.
it's like, well, that's
It's
boring,
well,
dude.
not only is it boring, it's just so stupid because you like, and that's the thing with me reading like the trivia and stuff. These folks making this movie thought that all this stuff was oh so smart, you know, and
Yeah.
that's the issue that I have with it because it's like, well, not
Yeah.
that's not the whole issue, but that's an issue, right? Because you watch a movie like this, and they end with the shot of them looking at the mountains, like some implied depth to that, you know, and they mirror the scene with him and his father when the wolf was coming up with the daughter and the mother this time, and the father is the monster.
Like poetry, it
Exactly,
rhymes.
that's the problem, dude. That you know that like for these folks that were making this movie, they were just like so like in love with this whole thing. You
Yeah.
know? And the fact
Oh,
that this
yeah.
made no money and it was critically panned should tell them something. It's like
Yeah.
no, no, you know, go back to school, man. Like or go back or go get a job somewhere else. Stop making movies. Like this was not like this was not it, man. You know, this is
Movies
not
are
it.
really getting bad, man. I
Yeah,
gotta say, movies are getting bad. I know this is like we've been observing this for a while, but
this is not
I
it.
mean, honestly, I know like 6 to 12 months ago, I was saying like, "Oh, I don't want movie theaters to die, blah, blah," but
It's the fault
at
of the
this point,
filmmakers
I'm like
in Hollywood.
at this point well, but at this point, even for my own in my own life, I'm like, I don't know if I really wanna go to movie theaters. I keep getting burned, like, Weapons was awesome, but that was like a shot in the dark,
Yeah,
dude. That was a one-off.
yes.
Like, I can't
Because
remember a
we can't even
time in the
trust
past
critics.
few years.
Because
No, I know.
critics are
I don't
bought,
remember a
you
time in the
know?
past few years that I actually enjoyed a movie that I went and saw in theaters. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I don't know. It's
It's funny because this is one of those like this is one of those episodes of Film Tangents where it's like we're just defeated. Like this movie
yeah,
just defeated us. um,
I just love old movies. Like, I was watching Creepshow last
yeah,
night, and I'm like, this you know what? This movie might be a 5 out of 10, but I'll be damned
yeah,
if I'm not enjoying it more than, like, just certain scenes and intricacies and
yeah. They
characters
had the
and
sauce, man. They had
culture and
sauce. They had some sauce to them.
yeah, like, I just feel like I'm watching real people,
Yeah.
you know? And then I see on I open up Netflix and I see a preview for that I Know What You Did Last Summer
Mm.
remake, and I'm like,
Real,
"This
bring me up.
just looks" it looks like I'm watching Secret Lives of Mormon Wives or something. Like, it just looks fake.
Yeah,
These don't look this I already hate this main character, and
yeah,
it's a 5-second I'm 5 seconds into a 60-second preview on Netflix, and I hate
yeah,
this girl already.
yeah. So
Like, I'm with I'm kind of in that Rob Ager camp at this point where
yeah,
I'm like, I like pre-millennial movies. I wouldn't go so far. I would say like pre-2010 maybe.
hmm
Like, you know, but
mm,
especially pre-2000.
yeah.
Like
It's rough,
20th
man.
century movies all the way.
Yeah,
I would much any night of the week I'd rather watch a movie from the 50s through the 90s
yeah.
all the way,
It's
dude.
rough, and it does feel like it's a generational thing, you know? Like, it does feel like all of the people who are now, like, I mean, all the millennial people, like, all the people in their 30s and 40s, like, all these people who are now in these positions where they're the ones making the things, it's all terrible, you know? And it
Yeah.
just feels like, what's the solution to this? Because these people are the ones that they're already there, you know? They're not going to stop. It almost feels like they're going to run movies into the ground. Like that's really the end for movies. Like oh, these people are now the ones making movies, and they're just going to run it into the ground. Because like the the only good movies that come out every now and then is like whenever somebody that had been making them, like Nolan or something, comes around and makes one. But like all of these
Yeah.
like new people who are like writing them and making them, all of them are terrible. Like it's insane, you know. And the funniest thing about it is that a lot of these people went to film school like we did, and the movies are terrible. You know, maybe that says something about
Yeah.
film school. I was thinking about that today because I was watching like one of those like Criterion in the closet like things, and
Closet picks.
yes, and the thought that I had about it was like a lot of people who make movies now, you know, they just make movies by osmosis. like like but it's fascinating to me. Like it's almost like they just make movies because they just watched movies, you know. And in a way, it almost feels like that's like destructive, you know. Like when it's all self-referential and it's all Stranger Things and it's all meta stuff and it's all dialogue or movies or things that are coming from having watched or consumed movies. Where it
Yeah,
felt like at
yeah.
some point these guys like Scorsese and Spielberg and all these people were people who just had lives and they were
Yeah.
like, and I'm gonna make pictures, you know. But now this
My
is
grandson's in the
yeah,
pictures?
but now all this stuff is just like nonsense. It's like somehow the fact that all of us grew up watching movies made us worse at making them. It's insane.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a great point, man.
but that but
It
that's the
really is a great
but that's
point.
the thing that I thought about watching that closet pick because I was just watching. I think I was watching one of the Safdie guys. I know the Safdie guys are good, but I was watching him being like, "Oh, I made in my new movie. I'm going to be referencing this movie," and I was like, "Why?" You know, like he was like, "In this movie was a huge reference for the Smashing Machine," and I was like, "Why?" You know, why are you doing that? It, like
You
why? Why are we referencing movies? Why? You know, it's
Yeah,
insane. Whatever. Wolfman,
yeah.
2 out of 10. Original Wolfman, 6 out of 10. Thanks,
2
everybody.
out of 10.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
Thanks, dude. This shit was awful. Like, I'm tired of just like thinking about like movies, right? In such a way where, like, because we talked about our rating systems, right? I'm not making excuses with this movie. This movie was awful, you know. In every regard, it was awful. Like, I have, you know, it had some spookiness or some tension. That's why it has 2 stars. Otherwise, it was an awful movie, you know. It was awful. Like, I've it was terrible. Like I have nothing but negativity for it.
I'll give it a 4 out of 10 because it was watchable. It was never, boring until like the climax. I was like, "Ah, man, you're just not putting in it's not putting in work. There's no set piece here. You're in a fucking
Yeah,
treehouse." You know? It's like it's like, you think about like I said, Alien or Aliens, with the just all those classic cat and mouse scenes.
yeah,
And it's just like there's none of that in this.
yeah. Well,
Um
I hope that my anguish when we watch some of these movies, like when we watch that Orca movie, I hope my anguish is like deeply entertaining to people. That's, you know,
It's entertaining for me.
that's my only hope that people are like are laughing their ass off and just being entertained. Because that's what
Yeah.
I love about stuff like when this because this is a very organic reaction that I'm having. We're not manufacturing anything, but that's what I loved about like Game Grumps and stuff like that. Whenever like Aaron on Game Grumps would get really angry, it was always the most entertaining thing to me. Um,
So hopefully someone's getting something out of your pain.
Yes, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
everybody. If you love this movie, sorry. If you're Lee Wanell, I'm sorry, Lee Wanell. Lee Wanell, pay
Leon
me,
L, I
and
love
I'll write a
Insidious.
movie for you if you want me to, and it might be only a little bit better, but it might be a little bit better. Um,
Yeah.
sorry, everybody. For those who watched this along with us, at least you watched the classic Wolfman movie, which is still pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so Wolfman 2025, 4 out of 10. Classic Wolfman. I give it a 7 out of 10. I
Yeah,
think yeah.
yeah, I
Um
respect it.
what you got for next week, man?
Cronos, from 1992, Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, Cronos? Okay.
Mhm. I
Cool.
saw it was on your watch list.
1992.
I was between, for me, it was between Chronos and The Devil's Backbone, but I chose Chronos because Chronos is shorter.
Yeah, yeah.
And we have a quick turnaround for the next episode, so I figured I shouldn't make us watch anything like long. There's only an hour and a half, probably like an hour and 20 something with credits. Um, which my
Uh,
closing thought on Wolfman is that if you see anywhere, including on Letterboxd, and the movie itself, it says it's an hour and 42 minutes. This movie ends at an hour and 31 minutes. It ends.
Holy shit.
So it's an hour, it's really just an hour and a half movie, but it has
So
like
it's 10 minutes of
And it's
credits?
like 11 to 12 minutes of credits. And
Oh
I sat through
fuck.
the credits, and there's nothing in the credits. There's nothing. There's not like a post credit or anything. So it's just a bunch of, and it made me think to myself, like, why did 12 minutes
You
worth?
thought there was gonna be a post credit scene.
I was like, what?
You thought they were gonna hit at the next
Yeah.
Frankenstein
So,
movie
dude,
that
so
Leon L is
so I was
making.
like, really, 12 minutes worth of folks of people worked on this thing? Whatever. At least they got paid, and at least they fed their families. That's really the only thing I can say about any of that. And it's funny because
Can you imagine working in the film industry,
one of
just
the
being one of these? I can't imagine it, dude. I could
dude,
not work on these fucking sets for 12 hours. I mean, look at me. I'm in the
yeah,
credits. No,
okay,
I'm not disparaging anyone who
yeah,
does it, but I
it's not for you.
don't get it,
Yeah,
dude.
but
No.
the last point here is that there's a letterbox review. I'm actually just gonna read it verbatim because I have the letterbox thing for this movie open. It says this: as soon as the movie ended and the screen went dark, just before the credits started to roll, a large L appeared
Oh,
on
I
the
saw that.
screen before fading into the director's name. That
Yeah,
is also the most succinct review anyone could give this film or this thing.
I did.
2 stars.
I did see that. I saw that review before I watched it. Actually,
2 stars.
I went into this actually. Um, I went into this kind of positive.
I
I
did
went
too.
into Wolfman with a glass half
Dude, I
full.
did too.
Like I really did. I was like, nah, Lee One-L because I loved Upgrade. I
Dude,
loved
I did
Invisible
too.
Man. I
I
was
did
like,
too. I
nah,
didn't
Lee
know
One-L's
anything about
gonna
this
come
movie.
through with the
I
goods,
read no
man.
reviews. I went into this just off of the back of Invisible Man and the fact that I loved that. And
Yeah.
dude, immediately from the end, eating the wasp thing, I was suspect. Immediately. I wrote it down. I was like, why is this opening with this? I'm not kidding you.
Your spidey sense. Yeah, no, I don't get it either. Yeah.
Dude, I'm not kidding you. I wrote at the very beginning of the movie, ants eating wasp, and put a little wasp emoji on my notes. I was like, what is this?
You take notes, nerd.
Yeah, I know.
No,
I
I do
do too, I
sometimes. I
know.
didn't with
I
this.
know you do too. But yeah, whatever. Next week is Guillermo. The new Frankenstein movie that he's making is coming out soon, so I figured
Oh
a
yeah.
little Guillermo horror also to maybe bump us on the algorithm through watching a Guillermo movie for Frankenstein. Um,
Good idea, dude.
everybody, it's Cronos next week. Be here or be
Oh yeah.
square, and happy Halloween.
Oh, comment below if well, by the time this episode comes out, it'll already have happened. But comment below if you watched the Tom Aspinall Cyril Gain fight. Looking forward to that on Saturday. It's gonna be cool. UFC heavyweight title fight.
All right.
I'm pumped for that. But so comment below if you watched it and what you think about the results. Were you surprised? Were you not? And yeah. But at this point in time, as of this recording, it hasn't happened yet.
Yes,
So
we'll talk
time
about it next
capsule.
time.
Yeah.
You'll give your take since you're watching it.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween, everybody, because this will be the
Yep.
last episode before Halloween, and then the next one will come after that. So thanks, everybody.
Oh,
See ya.
very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween, guys. See ya.